Quick summary: in this universe, Naruto Uzumaki isn't just the reincarnation of Ashura Otsutsuki. He is the final vessel for the legacy of the Otsutsuki clan. From the very beginning, Naruto was the reincarnation of Indra, Ashura, Hagoromo, and even Kaguya, whose will lingers deep in his soul. A convergence of cosmic power reborn in human form. The Yondaime Hokage, Minato Namikaze, held a bundle in his arm, smiling down at it, seeing as it was his son, Naruto. The roar of the Kyuubi no Yoko broke through this peaceful scene, causing Minato to focus, laying Naruto down in a bed with Kushina. "I'll be right back, you two, stay safe." With that, Minato disappeared in a yellow flash, appearing on his own head on the Hokage stone heads. He watched the Kyuubi fighting his ninjas and the Sandaime Hokage. He was about to go out there to battle the Nine Tails, though he felt something pulling him backward. Turning back with a throw of his three-pronged kunai, he saw the masked man as he vanished in a yellow flash, appearing in a clearing where he fought the said masked man and released his contract on the Kyuubi. Minato returned to the village, appearing above the massive-tailed beast with the chief toad Gamabunta crushing it down. He then vanished in a large yellow flash. Minato let Gamabunta battle Kyuubi while he went and got Kushina and Naruto. He returned in a flash and placed Naruto in the middle of a large ceiling area that he had placed already. The Kyuubi was fighting the chief toad, landing a clean slash over his eyes, causing him to poof away. He glared down at the humans, letting out another loud roar, though when his eyes landed on the baby it made him confused. The boy had deep power inside him that the Kyuubi knew. He felt his father, Ashura, Indra, and Kaguya. Minato saw the Kyuubi's hesitation in movement, and that's all he needed, speeding through hand signs before he slammed his hands together. Shiki Fujin. Reaper Death Seal. The spectral image of the Reaper tore into existence behind him, clutching its blade with a dark smile on its face, reaching its hand out as it grabbed the full Kyuubi and sealed it inside of the young boy. Minato saw this and his eyes widened. He wanted to split it in half. He stared up at death, seeing him smiling down at him before his soul was cut, and he dropped his last words before he was sent inside the belly of the Shinigami. "Protect him, Kushina." Kushina held the crying baby in her arms, crying herself. She didn't realize when Umbu surrounded her, the Sandaime leading them. "Lord Hokage is dead, Sandaime-sama." The cat-masked Umbu spoke, picking up the fourth's body as with a simple order from the Sandaime and re-elected Hokage she would body flicker away. "Lady Kushina, we need to take you and your young to the hospital," a dog-masked Umbu said, walking with her to the hospital. Even as an Umbu, Hatake Kakashi still cried just a little. Scene change: Naruto's mind. The Kyuubi lay behind the cage formed by the seal, surrounded by a void of swirling mist and faint glimmers of light, like stars trapped in the dark. He wasn't snarling or pacing. Instead, he stared forward calmly at the four figures standing before him. Even with all his power, there was a certain weariness in his eyes. Kaguya stood like a phantom, her long white hair floating around her, eyes emotionless and cold. Indra crossed his arms, silent but sharp-eyed, while Ashura looked irritated, as if he'd already been arguing. Hagoromo stood at the center, calm and observant. "You all got reincarnated inside of this kit," Kurama said, voice deep and unreadable. "It seems we have, Kurama," Hagoromo replied. "Fate has brought us together again." Kaguya tilted her head slightly. "Ah. I see now. This is what you did with the 10 tails, Hagoromo. I can sense them all, interesting." "Grandma is here too?" Ashura muttered, annoyed. "And I thought Indra was bad." "Be quiet, you idiot," Indra snapped. "Just because we're inside a child's mind doesn't mean I won't fight you." Kurama's massive eyes narrowed slightly as he looked at the four of them. Hagoromo was cautious, and so was he. The presence of his mother unsettled them both. If they were to remain within the boy for as long as he lived, they'd need to coexist, even if they hated it. A moment passed in tense silence. "For now," Hagoromo said. "We wait. But one day, the boy will awaken, and when he does, the world must be ready." Timeskip age 3. You got this, Naruto-chan. Don't be scared, mommy's right here, okay? Naruto fidgeted with his sleeves, eyes wide as he looked up at the tall tree. Okay, but what if I fall? I'll catch you, Naru. You're a big boy, remember? Yeah. You're right. His face lit up with a smile. Kushina laughed softly as she watched him walk up to the tree. He was focused, unusually so for a 3-year-old. Concentrating his chakra, Naruto began to walk up the trunk. His steps were a little shaky at first, but soon he was walking vertically, rising all the way to the top. When he turned to look down, his mother was staring in surprise. You did it! She cheered. Have you been practicing when I wasn't looking, mister? No. I've just been studying how to walk on stuff. Hee hee, alright, let's go celebrate. Ramen! 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 Naruto jumped down, landing in Kushina's arms with a happy giggle. The Uzumaki family lived a peaceful life, even after the Kyuubi attack. The Sandaime Hokage had announced that the young Naruto was the vessel of the Kyuubi no Yoko and a hero instead of the beast itself. When villagers and some ninjas didn't agree and even tried to mutter the world demon, they found out why Kushina Uzumaki was called the Red Death. She had to kill 35 villagers that called her son a demon. We now see the two at Ichiraku with large smiles on their faces, slurping down ramen almost like a race while they laughed together. You made him little, you, Kushina. Believe me or not, Tsuchijiji, his first words were ramen. Kushina said with a smile while looking at Naruto eating. She then realized she was losing the race, causing everyone to burst out in happy laughter. 2 years later, Naruto's 5th birthday. Konoha, early morning. Konohagakure was already alive with color. Red streamers danced in the wind, stalls lined the streets with freshly grilled food, and posters of a grinning blonde holding up the peace sign were everywhere. Today wasn't just a birthday. It was Uzumaki Naruto Day. The day the boy who saved the village from the Kyuubi was born. Vendors handed out free food to villagers. Ninjas in uniform offered warm smiles. Even ANBU in masks gave silent nods to the boy who had done what no one else could, hold back the Kyuubi and survive. Inside the Uzumaki household, Naruto squirmed while Kushina tried to comb his messy hair. Moo. It's my birthday, I should look cool. Not fancy. You look cool when you're neat, Naruto-chan. Now hold still or no birthday cake, I'll let Sasuke eat it. Naruto froze and his eyes widened in the mirror, meeting his mom's gaze as he saw she was just laughing. You're evil. Kushina continued to laugh, having to control herself as she smiled down at her son. Red Death, remember? Outside, people gathered. Children shouted. Where's Naruto? The villagers lit sparkles early even though the real fireworks weren't till sundown. Back with Naruto and Kushina, Kushina finally gave up on Naruto's hair, ruffling it into his normal hair with a slight sigh. Go out there with your crazy porcupine style. Naruto stuck out his tongue, grabbing his goggles and ran out of the door, making Kushina shake her head and laugh lightly, thinking about Minato watching them both. Outside, the street in front of their home was already packed with villagers. Cheers broke out the moment the door opened. Happy birthday, Naruto! There he is! Hey, hero! Naruto beamed, waving both hands. His red Uzumaki hoodie flapped in the wind as he ran down the stairs of the Uzumaki compound into a crowd of familiar faces. Irika, Tochi, even some Chunin and Jounin that came for his past birthdays. Yo, Naruto! Sasuke stood leaning against a tree, arms crossed with a smirk. You took long enough. Naruto grinned. Had to survive my mom first. She tried to assassinate my hair. Behind them, Makoto Uchiha approached, arm in arm with Kushina. Both women looked proud and battle-worn, legends in their own right. It was thanks to their brutal honesty and strength during the Uchiha Council's corrupt coup d'etat plans. 2 years prior, the Uchiha clan planned to destroy and take over the leaf. The two kunoichi discovered this, and with the help of Itachi Uchiha they put an end to the corrupt council. Boys, Makoto said, hands on her hips. Don't run off too far. The Hokage is coming soon. Yeah. Naruto and Sasuke both said at the same time, fist bumping each other with a slight smirk on their faces. I'll race you to the festival. Oh, you're on Naruto. That's when both boys sprinted off toward the festival, laughing and leaving dust in their wake. Scene change later that night. Uzumaki compound. The Uzumaki compound, once quiet and proud, was alive with celebration. Red and gold paper lanterns floated gently above, their glow casting warm hues across the expensive courtyard. The ancestral garden paths had been lit with chakra-powered lights, and a soft melody from live musicians filled with air. Even the clan's whirlpool-shaped crest had been polished and hung proudly above the gate. Today wasn't just a birthday. It was Uzumaki Naruto Day. The whole village had been invited to celebrate within the heart of the Uzumaki legacy. In the center of the main courtyard, a long banquet table stretched end to end stacked with gifts, trays of food, and handcrafted sweets. At its head sat the star of the evening, Uzumaki Naruto, the 5-year-old beaming with happiness and shining just like a star. A massive banner hung over him, emblazoned with his smiling face and bold calligraphy that read, Uzumaki Naruto, our son, our savior. A cheer roared through the compound. Happy birthday, Naruto. Naruto's face turned red, but his grin didn't fade. This was more than a party, it was love he could feel in every laugh, every hug, every bite of food. Gathered around him was his best friends, the children of Konoha's greatest clans. Sasuke Uchiha sat beside him, arms crossed, pretending to be unimpressed. TCH, it's just a party. But the hint of a smile betrayed him. Shikamaru groaned. Troublesome crowd, at least the dango is worth it. Choji didn't answer, mouth stuffed with fried dumplings. Ino tossed her hair. Remember, Naruto, prettiest girl, best gift. She winked, handing him a bright blue bouquet. Hinata stood off to the side, nervously clutching a small red scarf that she just got down knitting. With the help of her mother, she shyly gave it to Naruto. Kiba zipped between tables, trying to get his present for Naruto open first, though his mother grabbed him and took him inside so he could sit down somewhere. Shino stood by Shikamaru, quietly sipping from a tiny juice box as his Kakashi buzzed around him with a faint light, his version of party lights. Even several of the adults had come to honor the boy who had unknowingly saved them all. Might Guy challenged Naruto to a ramen eating contest. When he lost, he would challenge himself to do 1,000 push-ups in 20 seconds. Kurenai brought a calming gift of lavender-scented charms. Asuma passed Naruto a box of scrolls and kunais. This is for training only, kid. The usually smoking Jounin said, slightly smiling down at Naruto before he went back to join the adults. Irika ruffled Naruto's hair and flicked his forehead lightly with a grin. You're growing up fast, Naruto, you'll be Hokage in no time. You think so, Irika-sensei? I am the one and only Uzumaki Naruto after all. Irika laughed with Naruto, before he seen his big brother figure Kakashi walking up, which made Naruto run and jump in his arms. Hey Naruto, am I late to the party? You're right on time, Kakashi and I-san. I have a present for you, so get down please. Naruto only nervously grinned, jumping down off of Kakashi as he smiled up at him. Happy birthday, Naruto. Kakashi pulled out a scroll behind his back. It was a storage scroll which had a custom-made tanto inside it. Kakashi would apply chakra to the scroll, causing it to open and let the tanto be seen. The handle was red and black while the blade was a glowing black. Thank you, Kakashi and I. You're welcome, Naruto. Kakashi lightly ruffled his hair before taking him to the main event. From the side doors of the compound's kitchen, Tochi and Ayam emerged with a monstrous 3-layer ramen cake, steam rising from each tier, golden Narutomaki spiraling along the edges. Naruto's eyes widened. No way. Kushina walked beside him, crouching as she did, voice soft and proud. This is all yours, Naruto-chan. His lip quivered, jumping on his mother with a teary-eyed smile, making everyone say a combined "ah." This is the best birthday ever. Thank you so much, Mom. Hee hee, let's dig into the cake. Naruto gets the first cut. Everyone surrounded Naruto as they watched him cut the cake, going to take a bite before Kushina and Sasuke pushed his head in the cake, which covered his entire face in it, making everyone at the party burst out in laughter. Kushina cleaned the cake off of Naruto's face while still laughing, going to eat her own piece of cake. Then Naruto did the same thing to her, which made everyone else once again burst out in laughter. The kids and adults all ate some cake at least, leaving one last layer that Kushina kept in the fridge. That's when the Sandaime Hokage walked up with a grandfatherly smile. I'm happy to see you've had a great birthday, Naruto, my boy. Hokage Gigi. It was awesome and so fun. I bet it was, Naruto. I have a present for you, my boy. Is it the hat? Not just yet, but because it's your birthday. Hiruzen would take off the Hokage hat and place it carefully on Naruto's head, smiling down at the boy as he did. Hiruzen would pull out a scroll that had the kanji for fourth on it, giving it to Naruto as he smiled. Now put your chakra into the scroll, my boy. Alright, Gigi. Naruto did as he said, putting chakra in the scroll as he saw it poofed out a box that had multiple 3-pronged kunai and the flying Raijin steps. The only members of the party knew a secret that the villagers didn't. Kushina and Hiruzen only told a select few of people that Naruto was the son of Minato Namikaze. I trust your mother to help you learn your father's technique when you're older, my bow dash. Hiruzen didn't get to finish. Naruto had hugged him while sniffing and blowing snot into his Hokage robes. Thank you, Gigi, thank you. Naruto was surrounded by the clan children, and their parents, all of them hugging Naruto as well. The party would continue for another few hours until all the children had either fallen asleep or had to go home. In the Uzumaki compound, it was only Kushina and Naruto once again. Kushina would be in the living room with Naruto, giving him his last birthday gift. I have one last gift for you, Naruto-chan. Kushina said as she smiled at her son, taking out a scroll that had the whirlpool shape of the Uzumaki on it. Kushina would push some of her chakra into the scroll, causing a stack of red leather books that showed the Uzumaki whirlpool symbol. This is the Uzumaki Fuinjutsu, books 1 through 10. Naruto's eyes widened. He knew that his mother knew sealing jutsu, but he didn't expect he had to learn it. Our clan's true strength wasn't just our chakra and longevity, Naruto. It was our mastery of sealing. These books were made by the Sage of Sixth Paths himself, given to the first Uzumaki and passed on through the family, and now, it's yours. When you're ready, I'll help you. Naruto carefully held the books to his chest, smiling at his mother, though he noticed there was another item in the scroll. What's that, Mom? Kushina only smiled, pulling out the wrapped blade as she cleared her throat. This is the Crimson Fong. A blade forged by our ancestors, sealed with Uzumaki chakra. Only someone of Uzumaki blood has a chance of awakening its true power. Even when I tried, I couldn't. Naruto blinked, looking confused as the blade. So what does it do? Kushina smiled mysteriously, kind of scaring Naruto in the process. That's for you to find out, when the time comes. Naruto reached out and gently touched the cloth-wrapped hilt. The silk pulsed faintly with warmth, like it was alive and waiting. He looked at her with a smile, putting the sword back on the seal before using chakra and sealing it back. Thank you, Mom. She pulled him into her arms and whispered against his hair. One day, you'll be the strongest Uzumaki who ever lived, not because of power, but because of heart. After that, she would pick up Naruto, putting all of his gifts in his room as she would lay him down for bed, kissing him on the forehead as she tucked him in and turned the light off, walking to her own room and falling into slumber. Scene change: Naruto's mindscape. Dreamlike. Vast. Silent. Almost sacred. Naruto stood in an endless space, not dark, not bright, just vast. The floor was rippling water, reflecting the stars above even though there was no sky. Naruto looked down at himself. He wasn't a kid here. His body glowed faintly with golden traces, and his reflection shimmered with power. Older, taller, almost godlike. Where am I? He whispered, looking around slightly as he walked forward, but he was stopped by a voice that answered behind him. Welcome, Naruto. Four figures slowly came into view, each standing like statues in the mist. One held a shakujo staff, robes flowing like wind, wise eyes full of patience. One wore a battle-worn high-collar cloak with 6 tomo on the chest, 9 on the back beneath the Otsutsuki clan logo. Another stood in the same outfit, arms crossed, cold and proud, his chakra felt cold and crackling. And the last, a woman. Floating slightly off the ground, hair long as night itself, with horns and pale eyes that made Naruto be reminded of the Hyuga clan. He then saw behind them was a large sleeping fox. Kurama didn't want to be involved in their conversation. Who are you guys? The staff bearer flew forward, a smile on his face as he had that same grandfather-like smile that the Sandaime gave Naruto. I am Otsutsuki Hagoromo, the sage of 6th paths. The other walked up or flew on the sides of Hagoromo. I am Ashura, your boundless spirit and compassion. I am Indra. Your cunning, your fire. I am Kaguya Otsutsuki, the origin of your bloodline. All of you are inside me? Kurama's familiar low growl rumbled nearby. The boy had woken him up, causing him to appear from the darkness behind them, calmly sitting like a guardian beast. You're not just you, brat, you're something that has never been seen before. You're the true reincarnate. All of them in one. Naruto was confused, looking at all of them and trying to find the words, which took a while. But I'm me. I'm Naruto. Hagoromo would lightly chuckle while nodding. You're right. But you are also the convergence of destinies, the vessel of unity. Ashura would smile at Naruto, ruffling his hair a bit. We aren't here to control you, we dash. Indra cut him off. But if you don't master yourself, you'll be consumed by our power. Kaguya floated closer. She had an unreadable gaze, though it cracked just a bit as she looked at the boy. The world is changing again. The time will come when you must decide to save it or to rule it. Kurama leaned in, eyes glowing. You have the power of gods, Naruto. But how you use it, that'll decide everything. Naruto looked down at his reflection, slightly clenching his fist before locking eyes with everyone there. I don't want to be a god, I want to protect my home. Hagoromo smiled at his words. He knew he would say something like that. Placing a single hand on his shoulder as Naruto felt a burst of knowledge, power, spirit, and blood. You've been gifted with knowledge, power, spirit, and blood. Next time you return here, we will begin. You must walk the right path. Naruto smiled, deep blue eyes looking with the godly eyes of the Rinnegan. I will. They all smile at the boy. They had a feeling that he would save the world, though Kaguya would have to warn him about Black Zetsu. Naruto was now able to drift off to sleep, not knowing that his body on the outside had new abilities in godlike chakra and eyes, unknown to the ninja world. Their savior or destroyer has been awoken. Bonds and beginning. The sun poured gently into the Uzumaki compound, spilling golden light across Naruto's bed. He stirred slowly. No nightmares. No dreams. Just silence. Naruto slowly sat up, remembering what he saw in his mind. He could feel the power that Hagoromo gave him, and it made him feel strangely connected to everything. Morning, Naruto-chan. Kushina called from the kitchen. Come eat before it gets cold. Naruto blinked, shaking the strange feeling off, and smiled. Coming, Mom. Naruto ran downstairs, jumping into his seat as he had a smile on his face. After you get done eating, I'll take you to the academy, Kushina said as she smiled at Naruto, putting a plate of eggs, sausage, bacon and biscuits in front of him with some orange juice. Thank you, Mom. Naruto would eat his food before he stood and washed his own dishes, now waiting at the door with his Canon Academy outfit. Aren't you ready to go, mister? Kushina said with a smile. She could see the younger image of Minato and Naruto. Kushina walked up to Naruto, lightly holding his hand as she walked to the academy. Don't give Iruka too much trouble, okay? Be good, Naru. Ah, but I was planning a prank to do on him, Mom. Naruto pouted, puffing his cheeks like a chipmunk. Kushina snorted and gave him a gentle bop of the head. No exploding chalk this time, got it? Fine. He muttered, rubbing his head and giving her a cheeky grin. Maybe just a little one? The two laughed together, the streets of Konoha lively around them. Shops opened. Birds chirped. Villagers waved warmly as they passed. Whispers of, "That's him." And the hero kid followed them. Kushina ruffled his hair as they reached the academy gate. Go show them who you are, my little son. Naruto nodded, then turned to face the building with a determined expression, but something flickered in his eyes. Just for a second. Naruto's eyes became a swirling prism, like galaxies folding into themselves, rings and tomo dancing in spirals around a star-shaped pupil. Power. Legacy. Destiny. He blinked, it vanished. Weird. Naruto muttered, rubbing his eyes as he walked inside the academy with a cheeky grin. Inside him, the chakra of the sage and his family stirred, seemingly to be chuckling. What is this mysterious dojutsu? Well, let me tell you. Sogen, Eye of Creation. Born from the fused will of gods and men, it does not simply see the world, it decides how the world can be. Stage 1, Divine Perception. Unlocked at age 5, current story. Naruto's base Sozugen grants him Byakugan abilities. 360 vision, except blind spot, chakra pathway visibility, and telescopic sight. EMS abilities. Perfect precognition in battle. No blindness or strain from usage. Access to a unique Sozugen genjutsu so powerful it can rewrite memories or place others in temporary illusions of destiny. They see a future where Naruto always wins. Rinnegan abilities. All 6 paths techniques. Basic shared vision if clones or toads are summoned. Passive chakra absorption. Special to Sozugen. Chakra weaving, Naruto can briefly fuse 2 jutsu instantly, e.g. fire wind equals burning cyclone. Truth perception, he can sense emotional intent and see destiny threads linking people/events. Seal mastery, Fuinjutsu becomes second nature, as if born with scrolls etched into his soul. Copy and evolve, can see and replicate any elemental jutsu or taijutsu at twice the speed of the Sharingan, including Kekkei Genkai techniques if the target's chakra is present. Once copied, the jutsu adapts and improves when Naruto reuses it. Alright, let's get back to this awesome what if. By the way, I'll probably have Naruto fully unlock it when he's on the wave mission. Konoha Academy grounds, morning. The warm sun spilled over the academy grounds, where dozens of bright-eyed academy students gathered. The air buzzed with laughter, nervous excitement, and Iruka Sensei's voice trying, and mostly failing, to keep the chaos contained. Alright. Settle down, everyone. Iruka clapped his hands. Today's a special day. We're having our first chakra and coordination day. That means you get to show off all that training you've been doing at home. Naruto stood proudly near the front, bouncing on his heels. His headbandless blonde hair shimmered in the light, and his wide blue eyes gleamed with anticipation. This is gonna be awesome. He turned to Sasuke with a big grin. You ready to lose? Sasuke just end and folded his arms. In the crowd, clan parents and jonin spectated from the sidelines. Kushina Uzumaki stood next to Makoto and Itachi Uchiha, arms crossed and grinning with pride. He's gonna surprise them, she said while waving and smiling at Naruto. Itachi would be watching his brother, a light smile on his face as he watched him. Don't count Sasuke out yet, Ms. Uzumaki. Makoto slightly smirked, keeping her eyes on Sasuke. Itachi is right, Kushina. Event 1: The Leaf and Balance Obstacle Course. Iruka explained. Each of you will place a leaf on your forehead. You have to keep it balanced while running across planks, hopping posts, and landing targets. Chakra control and focus. Ready? Most kids stumbled by the second post. Kiba's leaf flew off immediately. Ino shrieked as she nearly fell into water. Shikamaru walked the whole thing muttering. Troublesome. But when it was Naruto's turn, no one was ready for it. He darted forward, arms back, wind rushing against his face. The leaf stayed firmly on his forehead. Each footstep landed perfectly, as if the course guided him instead of the other way around. When he landed on the target and struck a grin, even Iruka blinked. What the? Did you teach him that already? Makoto asked. No. Kushina said with a slight smile. She was proud of her Naruto-chan. That was all him. Event 2: Sparring Challenge. Next up, randomized 2 vs 2 sparring to build coordination and reaction time. Team 3: Naruto and Hinata. Hinata turned a bright red. She didn't expect that she would be on a team with her crush. Team 7: Kiba and Shikamaru. Naruto turned to Hinata with a big grin. Don't worry, we got this. She would only nod, hiding behind her bangs. The whistle blew. Kiba charged immediately, while Shikamaru moved to the flank with a hand sign. Naruto waited. His body buzzed. Something in his vision sharpened, time slowed just a bit. He could feel where Shikamaru's shadow would move. A rock near his foot. Naruto picked it up and hurled it. Thunk! It hit Shikamaru in the chest, causing him to fall over and groan out. This is such a drag. Meanwhile, Hinata had activated her gentle fist and slammed her palms into his stomach, causing him to get sent flying with a yelp. Point. Team 3. Everyone clapped for the team. The Hyuga heir and the golden child of Konoha was an unexpected team up, but it worked. Aftermath. The event ended in cheerful applause. Parents clapped, kids surrounded Naruto and Hinata. That was awesome. You threw that rock like you knew it would hit. Do you have the Sharingan or something? Naruto laughed nervously. Nah. Just got lucky. But in the shadows, Hiruzen Sarutobi watched from afar. He had felt something flicker, an immense chakra pulse for just a moment when Naruto threw that rock. You felt it too, Gigi? Kushina said as she walked up behind him. She looked confused but proud. I did. The Sandaime murmured. There's more to Naruto than any of us realize. He's my son, so of course he's gonna be awesome. Scene change Uzumaki compound, night. Later that evening, as Naruto sat on the Uzumaki compound staring at the sky, he yawned and leaned back. His eyes fluttered half shut. And for just a second, the faintest ripple of silver lavender light danced across his irises. Flicker. Then it was gone. Naruto scratched his head. Huh, weird. Kushina's voice called from inside. Naru-chan. Bedtime. Coming. He grinned and ran inside. 7 years later. Summary of the lost time. In the 7 years since that unforgettable birthday, Naruto Uzumaki's life became a unique blend of normal and extraordinary. While the world saw a cheerful academy student with big dreams and a bigger appetite, only a select few knew just how much was growing beneath the surface. Naruto still attended the ninja academy like any other kid. He pulled pranks, especially on Irika, struggled through boring lectures, and made tons of friends, including Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, and even began to form a complicated rivalry with Sasuke. His days were filled with laughter, ramen, tree climbing competitions, and the occasional detention. Despite being a handful, he earned the respect of his classmates with his relentless energy and growing skills. But after school hours, that's when Naruto's second life began. Guided by Kushina, Naruto trained in secret with the gifts he received at his birthday. He studied the Uzumaki Fuinjutsu books volume 1 to 10, learning to respect and control the ancient sealing arts of his clan. What began with frustration and inky scribbles eventually turned into complex barrier seals, chakra chains, and explosive tags crafted by his own hands. Sealing scrolls lined the walls of his room like posters, each one a milestone of his growth. He also trained with the Crimson Fawn, the ancestral blade forged by Uzumaki hands. Though it had yet to fully awaken, Naruto forged a connection with it, learning sword discipline, chakra channeling, and emotional focus, all taught by his mother, who told him, "This blade will respond when you fight not just with strength, but with heart." And when he wasn't training or at the academy, Naruto was just a kid. He played, joked, laughed, and lived. Sleepovers at Shikamaru's house, ramen challenges with Choji, racing Kiba and Akamaru around the village. Naruto's life was full of the warmth and chaos of growing up. Warning of the genin exams. Golden light spilled through the Uzumaki compound, just as it did 7 years ago. Naruto stirred in his bed, eyes blinking open to the warm morning glow. He felt it again. He hasn't had any conversations with Hagoromo and his family, but he could feel them watching. The smell of miso soup and grilled fish snapped Naruto out of his thoughts. Naru-chan. Kushina's voice rang out, warm and proud. Time to wake up, it's the big day. Genin exams. Naruto blinked, then grinned. He sat up, scratched his head, and whispered to himself. Time to show them what Uzumaki Naruto can really do. He leapt out of bed, heart pounding. Today wasn't just another day. It was the beginning of everything. Naruto descended the stairs quickly, still fastening his academy pouch. Kushina placed a hearty breakfast on the table, which was fried rice, miso soup, and tamagoyaki with Naruto's favorite, sweet soy drizzle. Eat up, or you'll pass out mid-jutsu, Kushina warned, sitting beside him. Naruto inhaled his food, nerves and excitement bubbling. You ready? She asked after he finished. He nodded as he swallowed the rest of his food. Yeah. I've been ready. Kushina ruffled his hair while smiling. Remember what I said, don't hold back, but don't show everything. Save your aces. Naruto smirked. Ha. Got it, Mom. Scene change at the academy. The classroom was loud as usual, chatter filling the air as students crowded around friends. Sasuke leaned against the wall, arms crossed, eyes locking with Naruto the moment he stepped in. Took you long enough, Uzumaki? Naruto laughed, causing Sasuke to slightly smirk. Please, I was up before you. You probably fixed your hair for half an hour. Sasuke rolled his eyes though his smirk stayed. TCH, whatever. Hinata gave Naruto a small wave, blushing when he waved back. Shikamaru was already half asleep. Choji snacked on chips while Ino tried to gossip with Sakura, who was about to pass. Irika entered the room with clipboard in hand. Alright, everyone, settle down. Today's a big day. Those who pass the graduation test will officially become genin. The rest, well, you'll be back here next year. He smiled encouragingly, but his eyes scanned them seriously. It won't be easy. Chakra control, ninjutsu, physical ability, and mental aptitude, everything counts today. Naruto clenched his fists in excitement. This is it. This is my moment. Naruto stood with his classmates in the practice yard behind the academy, lined up beneath the morning sun as Irika and Mizuki gave out final instructions. Despite the tension, Naruto wore a confident smirk, hands behind his head in his usual relaxed posture. All right, Irika said, clipboard in hand. You'll be called one by one. You'll perform the clone technique, a basic transformation, and a shuriken accuracy test. Those who pass will receive a forehead protector. The rest will try again next year. Naruto's expression hardened a little at that. He wasn't going to be a failure again. Not after all he had trained for. Not with his mom, Kakashi, and even Sasuke watching from a distance. Sasuke gave him a subtle nod, but one that spoke volumes. You better not choke. Clone technique exam. Uzumaki Naruto. Mizuki called. He stepped forward, calm but brimming with internal energy. His chakra was immense, but unlike before, it was steady, shaped, controlled. Let's see the clone technique. Naruto closed his eyes, forming the cross seal. Shadow clone jutsu. In a burst of smoke, 3 perfect clones stood beside him, crisp, identical, and filled with chakra. Irika's eyes widened, and even Mizuki flinched. That wasn't the basic illusionary clone, that was the multi-shadow clone jutsu. Perfect. Irika blinked. You pass with flying colors. Naruto gave a small bow and smirked at the stunned Irika, walking off with a slight grin on his face. Written in shuriken exams. He aced the chakra theory and history portions with surprising ease. Kushina made him read sealing scrolls every night after all. When the time came to throw shuriken, Naruto unleashed the same focused form Asuma taught him, burying 4 shuriken directly into the bullseye and grazing the edge of the 5th. Even Sasuke gave a subtle nod of respect from the sidelines. By the end of the exam rounds, Naruto stood among those with a forehead protector in his palm. He grinned widely, staring down at it with trembling fingers. I did it. Graduation room afternoon. Irika clapped his hands once the class had quieted again. Congrats to all who passed. Tomorrow, you'll meet your new Jonin squad leaders. The newly minted genin buzzed with excitement. Naruto leaned back in his seat, his protector now tied around his forehead with pride. Scene change. Uzumaki compound that night. Kushina had waited by the window all day. When she finally saw Naruto walking through the compound gates with the leaf headband protector tied proudly across his brow, her heart swelled. Naruto-chan. She whispered, hand over her heart. Naruto opened the door just in time for a flying tackle hug. You did it! She yelled, squeezing the life out of him. Head mom, can't breathe. She let out, eyes shimmering. You're officially a genin gods, I'm so proud of you. Naruto grinned and held up the headband. I told you I'd do it. Kushina already had a surprise ready. This time it wasn't ramen cake, but a home-cooked celebratory meal with grilled fish with sweet miso, miso-based tonkatsu ramen, and a tiny red and gold cake with a kunai-shaped candle. They sat together on the floor, laughing and eating. She gave him a small gift. It was a pendant that her great-grandmother gave her, which was shaped like the Uzumaki spiral, meant to bring luck and protection. "This belonged to your great-great-grandmother," she said softly, smiling as she put it in his hands. "Now it's yours, Naruto-chan." Naruto clutched it tightly. "Thanks, Mom." When the celebration ended and the dishes were put away, Kushina sat with him under the stars in the compound courtyard. "You're strong, Naruto," she said, brushing his hair back. "But don't carry everything alone, okay? You're not the Nine Tails. You are my son. You're loved." Naruto didn't respond at first, he just leaned into her side, the stars twinkling overhead. "I'll make you proud. I promise." A beautiful image of mother and son sitting under the stars. What they couldn't see is that the soul of Minato was behind them, joining in on their little hug with a smile on his face. "I'm proud of you, son." Naruto heard a voice that wasn't his mother's, and it felt nice and comforting, and all he could do was smile and be ready and happy for tomorrow. Scene change: Academy morning. The sun rose lazily over the hidden leaf, casting soft beams of light through the academy windows as chatter filled the classroom. Naruto entered, hands behind his head, a sleepy but proud grin on his face. He glanced around, nodding to Shikamaru, bumping fists with Kiba, then slid into a seat beside Sasuke like it was any other day. "Morning, team." Sasuke smirked. "Took you long enough, Dobe." They didn't need to exchange more than that, they understood each other. They were rivals, yes, but somewhere in those years of sparring, training, laughing, and healing bruises together, they'd grown close. Brothers in all but blood. Across the room, Hinata sat silently with her hands tucked in her lap, stealing glances at Naruto. A warm smile tugged at her lips. He looked calm, confident. Different, in a good way. Irika walked in, clipboard in hand. "Listen up, everyone. Today you'll be placed into 3-man squads. These teams will be your new units under a Jonin instructor, and you'll begin missions once approved." He began reading team names, and eventually. Team 7, Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, and Hyuga Hinata. The classroom buzzed faintly, but Naruto simply shared a quick nod with Sasuke and shot a bright smile at Hinata, who quickly ducked her head, cheeks red. Irika gave his usual reminders and left with the other teachers, leaving Team 7 waiting in the quiet classroom. Later that afternoon. "He's late." Naruto groaned, lying back across the row of chairs with his arms crossed behind his head. "He's over 2 hours late." Sasuke muttered, eyes flickering toward the door. "At this rate, we're going to miss the mission briefing." Hinata, who had been sitting neatly with her hands in her lap, spoke up softly. "And maybe he's just testing us?" Thud. The door slowly creaked open. A tall silver-haired figure stepped in, face obscured by a mask and his Hittite slanted over one eye. An orange book lazily held in one hand. "Yo!" Naruto ran up to their sensei, giving him a glare that held no malice behind it. "Kakashi and I. Do I need to tell Mom about you being late again?" "No need for that, Naruto, I was just testing you all." "Yeah, that's it, meet me up at the roof." Kakashi spoke with slight fear as he used a quick body flicker to move to the roof. Scene change: Academy rooftop. Team 7 now sat in front of Kakashi, the breeze ruffling their hair as they squinted in the sunlight. "All right," Kakashi said, closing his book. "Let's get introductions out of the way. I want your name, likes, dislikes, and your dreams for the future. Start with." He looked down the line. "You, on the right." Hinata jolted a little, then nodded quietly. My name is Hinata Hyuga. I like herbal teas, and I enjoy training quietly. I dislike cruelty. My dream is to become strong, someone who can protect the people she loves. Naruto gave her a thumbs up and a smile. You will, and we'll be with you the entire time, Hina-chan. She smiled faintly, hiding her blush with her jacket. Kakashi nodded. That was good. Next. Sasuke Uchiha. I like training, tomatoes, and sparring with certain idiots. Naruto grinned. He means me. Sasuke ignored him, only smirking. I dislike wasting time. And my dream. His expression sobbed for a moment. Is to restore my clan. And maybe one day, become someone worthy of protecting the village. Kakashi raised a brow behind his mask. He knew how the population dropped when Makoto and Kushina went with Itachi and slaughtered the corrupt Uchiha. He wouldn't question it any further. He would now turn to Naruto with a small sigh, though behind the mask he was smiling. Uzumaki Naruto, he announced proudly. I like miso ramen, my friends, and training with my mom. I don't like jerks, cowards, and traitors. Naruto met gazes with Kakashi, smiling with that bright smile he was known for. And my dream is to become Hokage. But not just any Hokage, I'll be the strongest one ever. I'll protect everyone I care about, and make sure no one has to go through pain. Kakashi was silent for a moment, then stood with an eye smile. All right. You're interesting. Tomorrow morning, training ground 7. Don't eat breakfast, or you'll throw up. What kind of training are we doing? Naruto asked, standing. Kakashi gave a wave as he walked off. Survival training. Survival? Hinata whispered. Naruto and Sasuke exchanged a look. Scene change, next morning, training ground 7. The air was cool and quiet, broken only by the crunch on the grass under sandals. Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata stood ready. None of them looked nervous. In fact, they looked prepared. Kakashi appeared in his usual casual blur, one hand in his pocket, the other holding the bells. All right, let's begin, he said, raising the silver bells that sparkled in the sun. There are only 2 bells, Kakashi said, dangling them in the air, the soft gingling causing tension to build. And there are 3 of you. Whoever doesn't get a bell fails. And gets sent back to the academy. Naruto gave him a knowing smirk. He trained with Kakashi before and they used the bell test as a form of training for an entire year. You're still using the same tricks, huh, Kakashi and I? Kakashi's sweat dropped. He's definitely Kushina's kid. Kakashi got lost in his thoughts just a bit, but he snapped himself out of it. Oh? Think you can beat me this time? Naruto's chakra flickered just slightly. He was calm and focused. We're not here to beat you. Sasuke stepped up, hands in his pocket and a smirk on his face. We're here to pass. Hinata nodded, activating her Byakugan with a quiet breath. Kakashi only smiled, in his eyes they already passed, but he had to be sure. Well, let's see it then. The test begins. Naruto moved first. It wasn't a direct attack, it was him vanishing into the trees. Hinata remained back, scanning the field with her Byakugan. She called out Kakashi's movements to Sasuke, who rushed in and kept him occupied with his clan's taijutsu, the interceptor fist. From above, Naruto dropped smoke bombs in an arc, forcing Kakashi back toward the clearing. Kakashi dodged smoothly, but the coordination was impressive. He had to admit it, they'd planned this. Naruto came down with a slice from the tanto Kakashi gifted to him. He got a clean hit on Kakashi, but then, poof! Kakashi countered with a substitution and reappeared behind Naruto, grabbing him by the shoulder. Still predictable Naruto. Naruto grinned. Am I? Poof. The Naruto in Kakashi's hand exploded in a puff of smoke. The real Naruto bursted from underground with a wide sweep, nearly snatching the bells off Kakashi's waist. Kakashi barely flipped out of reach, hearing the bells jingle from Naruto's touch, but he didn't notice the smirk on Naruto's face. Okay, not bad, Naruto. Naruto landed cleanly, panting lightly. You taught me that, remember? Ha! I see. But as the battle wore on, things shifted. The genin got worn out and Naruto got pinned in the dirt with Kakashi sitting on him. Kakashi now picked up Naruto, tying him to the stump as he called the other genin to where Naruto was tied. You improved. All three of you. But you were too reckless in the final charge, Naruto. You let your guard down to protect Hinata. Naruto just grinned from the rope, bruised but proud. They're my teammates. Sasuke and Hinata moved toward him, but he just shook his head. Eat? Naruto said firmly. Both of you. But Hinata began. Naruto gave her that warm, stupidly confident smile. Don't waste it. You'll need your strength. I'm fine. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. You're still an idiot. But he sat beside Naruto and opened his bento box. Hinata hesitated, then knelt beside Naruto and handed him a bit of rice anyway. Eat this, please. She whispered. You earned it too. Just then, Kakashi appeared from the trees, arms crossed in killer intent coming off in waves. You? The genin looked scared, they didn't know what would happen because they fed Naruto. Pass. The killer intent lifted as Kakashi I smiled down at them. You worked as a team. You backed each other up. You protected one another even if it meant failing. That's what being a shinobi is all about. He looked at Naruto specifically. You could have tried to take the bells for yourself. But you gave them a chance. You led them. Naruto grinned. I knew you were hiding your chakra from Hinata's Byakugan, so I put my chakra in the bells so she could find you easier. Kakashi's eye widened a bit before it turned into a smile. So that's what you did, impressive. Kakashi untied Naruto and looked at his genin with that same eye smile. Welcome to Team 7. Where the fire sleeps. The sun peeked gently over the rooftops of Konoha, casting a warm orange glow across the quiet Uzumaki compound. Birds chirped peacefully, the air was fresh. And Naruto was dead asleep, sprawling out like a starfish on his futon, snoring with his mouth open and one foot dangling off the edge. Suddenly, crash! A loud chatter echoed from the kitchen. Ah, who stole the last of the chili garlic paste? Naruto shot up like a kunai, hair sticking up worse than usual. What? I'm up. I didn't take it, I swear. He flailed out the bed, only to trip over his own pants leg and faceplant into the floor. From the kitchen, Kushina's voice echoed cheerfully. Oh good. You're awake, sleepyhead. She stepped into his room wearing an apron that said Uzumaki Kitchen, Uzumaki Rules and holding a wooden spoon like a weapon. Naruto groaned, lifting his head off the floor. Mom, did you just yell to wake me up? She grinned. Of course not. I really did lose the chili paste. But 2 birds, 1 spoon. She tapped the spoon against her hand menacingly. You were snoring like a tailed beast, Naruto-chan, time to get moving. You've got missions today. Naruto sighed dramatically. It's just D-rank missions. Kushina walked over and tousled his already wild hair. Hey, even the Hokage started with picking up trash and rescuing cats. Yeah. But you're not anyone, she added, voice softening. You're my boy. My strong, unpredictable, knucklehead ninja. She held up a small bento box wrapped in red cloth. Eat before you go. I made your favorite. Naruto perked up. Fish cake miso ramen? Fish cake miso ramen, she confirmed with a wink. He snatched it with a grin and hugged her tightly before bolting toward the door. Thanks, Mom. Love ya. Oi. Brush your teeth first. The door slammed. Kushina stood there smiling, then muttered. He definitely took the chili paste. Scene change, Hokage's office. The doors to the Hokage's office slammed open with a dramatic flare. Come on, Aji-san. Give us something better. Naruto stood at the front of Team 7, arms crossed, an exaggerated pout on his face. Hinata stood nervously behind him, fidgeting, while Sasuke looked more annoyed than usual, though that was his default setting. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, looked up slowly from the scroll he was reading, his pipe resting on the edge of the desk. That cleaning up dog hair from the Inuzuka kennels wasn't fulfilling enough? I was sneezing the whole time. Naruto whined. And Hinata almost got tackled by one of the puppies. Hinata blushed. It was cute, but big. Sasuke stepped forward, arms crossed. We're wasting time with these missions. We're ready for something else. Something that matters. Even Kakashi-sensei says we're improving fast. Naruto added. Right, Kakashi and I? Kakashi, leaning against the wall with his nose buried in mascot paradise, barely glanced up. Well, they're not wrong. Sarutobi raised his eyebrows. Is that so, Kakashi? They've got potential. More than most genin I've seen. Especially. Kakashi paused, putting away his book as he smiled. Naruto. Sarutobi hummed thoughtfully, puffing on his pipe. His eyes lingered a little longer on the boy with the spiky blonde hair and determined eyes. The boy who had survived more than most, who still smiled like the world didn't weigh on his shoulders. Very well. Team 7 leaned in, eyes wide. I'll authorize a C-rank mission, one with the potential for complications. You'll act as escorts for a client traveling outside the village. Naruto's eyes lit up. Outside the village? Seriously? Sasuke gave a rare small smirk. Finally. Hinata nodded, her grip tightening on the sleeve of her jacket. Sarutobi reached for a small scroll and unraveled it. Your client is a bridge builder from the Land of Waves. He's asked for protection until his work is completed. A man named. The doors creaked open again as an older man with a sake bottle in one hand stumbled in, reeking of alcohol and muttering to himself. Tazuna. The Hokage finished, looking slightly exasperated. Tazuna squinted at the group. These brats are my escorts? TCH, hope you're better than you look. I'm too old to be stabbed in the back by bandits. Kakashi closed his book with a snap. Don't worry, old man, he said with a lazy eye smile. They're stronger than they look. Naruto stepped forward confidently, grinning wide. You're in good hands, old man. Team 7's on the job. Scene change, village gate. The morning sun glinted off the village gates as Team 7 prepared for their first mission beyond the safety of the leaf. Naruto adjusted his gear with excitement practically radiating off him. Hinata clutched the straps of her pack nervously, and Sasuke stood calm and composed as usual, though his foot tapped slightly, betraying his anticipation. Just as Kakashi arrived with Tazuna in tow, a sudden whoosh of chakra could be felt. Naruto Uzumaki. The trio turned to see Kushina Uzumaki, storming toward them in her apron, flowers still dusting her sleeves. She was followed closely by Makoto Uchiha, graceful as ever but clearly unimpressed, and Hitomi Hyuga, elegant yet stern. Naruto paled. Oh no. Kushina yanked him into a tight hug. You didn't think you were leaving the village on a mission without saying goodbye to your mom, did you? She can't breathe, mom. Makoto calmly approached Sasuke, giving him a once-over with a critical eye. Oof. You better behave, and don't go running into danger trying to impress anyone, she said pointedly, before leaning in and smoothing his collar. Moo. Sasuke hissed quietly, his ears pink. Naruto snorted. Hitomi turned to Hinata, kneeling slightly to adjust her cloak. I packed you extra tea and a lavender oil scroll. If your chakra starts to shake, breathe and use the pressure point I taught you, under your left rib. Tea, thank you, mother. Then, all three women turned, as one, toward Kakashi. He immediately tensed. I don't suppose this is where I say good morning, he tried, backing up slowly. Listen up, Kakashi Hatake. Kushina's voice was laced with venomous concern. If my baby gets so much as a scratch, you'll be learning what it's like to eat through a feeding tube. Makoto added with a smile far too sweet. And I will personally rearrange your chakra system with a palm strike. Hitomi finished, still completely composed. Kakashi's sweat dropped. Noted. Very clearly. Naruto groaned, face buried in his hands. Can't you all just be normal moms for once? Hinata was blushing furiously and trying to vanish into her collar. Sasuke was muttering. I'm going to defect after this. Kushina finally knelt in front of Naruto again, brushing his hair back gently. Be careful out there, okay? Make me proud, but don't try to be a hero. Just come home safe. Naruto's expression softened. He nodded. I will, Mom. Makoto gently touched Sasuke's shoulder. Same for you. Come back with all your limbs. Hitomi gave Hinata a brief, gentle hug before stepping back with her usual quiet grace. May the Byakugan see your path clearly. With one final round of mom blares at Kakashi, the women vanished with a trio of soft flickers, leaving behind a stunned bridge builder, a rattled jonin, and 3 thoroughly embarrassed genin. Kakashi cleared his throat, pretending to dust his vest. Well then, shall we? Team 7 began walking. I swear. Naruto muttered. I'll never make fun of Sasuke's mom again. She's terrifying. Hinata whispered. You're both lucky my mom was holding back, Sasuke said flatly. Scene change, forest path. Team 7 traveled down a narrow trail. Birds chirped overhead. The peaceful ambience, however, didn't sit right with Hinata. She kept her eyes peeled, her footsteps light but alert. Kakashi was casually flipping through his orange book up ahead, and Tazuna was walking behind him, grumbling softly to himself about being surrounded by kids. That's when Hinata's veins pulsed around her eyes. Byakugan. The world shifted, chakra networks bloomed into view, the trees bled transparency, and the earth itself revealed secrets. A faint glint. A distortion in the chakra pattern. Something was off. Her pale eyes locked onto a single, seemingly harmless puddle nestled on the side of the path. Too clean. Too centered. Too perfect. Wait. She said, her voice sharp yet soft. Naruto and Sasuke halted immediately, sensing the change in her tone. There's chakra under the puddle. 2 signatures. Kakashi's book snapped shut. Well done, Hinata, he said coolly. In an instant, the puddle exploded, 2 figures in clawed gauntlets launching from it like vipers. Chains flew through the air, aiming directly for Kakashi. Naruto's hands moved fast, already forming a seal. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 3 clones shot forward to intercept, but the demon brothers, thick-set shinobi in metal masks, sliced through the clones with practiced ease. Sasuke moved like lightning, pulling a kunai as he pushed Tazuna back. Hinata ducked and slid behind Naruto, her eyes watching every movement, her veins still bulging with chakra awareness. But then... Too slow, growled one of the brothers. Chains coiled, and Kakashi fell to the ground, blood spurting. Sensei! Naruto shouted, eyes wide. The demon brothers laughed in unison. 1 down. We'll take the old man next. But neither got the chance. Crack! A shuriken whizzed through the air, forcing one of them to dodge, only for Sasuke to close the distance and sweep his leg. Don't get cocky, Sasuke hissed, slamming a kick into the man's chest. Naruto dashed forward, fury burning in his eyes. You picked the wrong day to mess with us. He delivered a spinning elbow to the second brother, using his clone for momentum mid-air. The hit was solid, but the enemy recovered quickly. Before they could retaliate. Gentle fist. Hinata surged forward, chakra roaring through her palms. Her hit connected, striking the enemy's chest chakra point with precision. He choked on his breath as his system spasmed. The fight turned in an instant. The demon brothers were on the ground, bound, wheezing, and just when Naruto looked around for Kakashi, a gloved hand burst up from behind one of the trees. Kakashi. Not a scratch on him. You really thought that'd kill me? Naruto blinked. Wait, you let that happen? Kakashi gave them an eye smile. I needed to see how you'd react under pressure. You jerk. Naruto groaned. You mean, that was a test? Hinata asked, chest still rising from exertion. Well, the attack was real. But I knew it was coming. Tazuna's request didn't add up, so I was expecting trouble. Sasuke wiped a bit of dirt from his arm. Next time, just warn us. Kakashi nodded at Hinata, serious now. Your observation skills were crucial. Well done. You may have saved my life. Hinata blushed hard. Thank you. All right. Kakashi said, now glancing at Tazuna. Care to explain why Rouge Nin are coming after you on what was supposed to be a simple escort mission? Tazuna rubbed his neck sheepishly. I may have left out a few details. Naruto crossed his arms and gave the old man a narrowed look. You better start explaining, old man. This was not a C-rank mission. Tazuna sighed, his shoulders slumping in guilt. I didn't lie because I wanted to. I lied because I had to. Kakashi gave him a pointed look. Go on. Tazuna's expression darkened. I'm a bridge builder, but I'm also the only one left trying to save the land of waves from a tyrant named Gato. He owns the shipping lines, the ports, the economy. He keeps our people starving and afraid. And now that I'm building a bridge to connect our country back to the mainland, and trying to cut off his monopoly, he's trying to kill me. Naruto blinked. So those guys were sent by him? Tazuna nodded solemnly. My family, my grandson, Inari, they're counting on me. If the bridge is finished, our people might have a future. Sasuke looked towards Kakashi. So what do we do? Kakashi looked over his team, then back at the unconscious enemies. We press on. Naruto grinned. Heck yeah, we do. Scene change, the afternoon, lakeside dock. By the time they reached the fog-covered lake, the sky was tinged with orange, and a hush had fallen over the landscape. A boatman was waiting for them silently at the edge of the water. You the one Tazuna sent for? Kakashi asked. The boatman gave a slight nod. The mist's thicker than usual. You're lucky you're with me. Gato's men are everywhere. They boarded the small, quiet boat. The vessel glided across the still waters, every oar stroke echoing eerily through the heavy fog. Naruto looked around nervously. It's like a ghost town. Hinata's eyes were active again, scanning their surroundings. Even through the mist, she kept her vision sharp. Still nothing, no chakra close by. Kakashi gave a small nod. Stay alert anyway. I have a bad feeling about this mist. Scene change, land of the waves, bridge road. As they stepped off the boat and continued their journey toward the bridge, the mist grew even thicker. The trees along the dirt path faded into silhouettes, and every step felt muffled, like the world was holding its breath. That's when Kakashi stopped. He placed his hand on his pouch and glanced over his shoulder. This mist, it's not normal. Be ready. Naruto took out the crimson edge. Sasuke narrowed his eyes and took up a guard stance. Hinata whispered, eyes widening before she pulled everyone down. A massive blade soared through the mist like a spinning fan, embedding itself into a tree inches from their heads. Naruto's eyes went wide as he stood with his team. What the hell was that? And then, they heard the voice. Raspy. Calm. Cold. Ah, I missed. From the mist emerged a tall figure standing atop the blade, his face half hidden behind bandages, jumping down as he held his massive sword back in his grip. Momochi Zabuza. The demon of the hidden mist. Kakashi's eye narrowed. The demon of the hidden mist. Momochi Zabuza. Zabuza smirked. Hatake Kakashi, the man who's copied over 1,000 jutsu. This might be interesting after all. Zabuza's smirk stayed in place, but his eyes flickered, just briefly, to the weapon in Naruto's hand. The crimson edge gleamed faintly in the mist, blood-red steel pulsing with an ancient chakra. That sword. Zabuza muttered, eyes narrowing now. Naruto titled his head, holding it firm in a reverse grip. You got something to say, Mist Breath? Zabuza didn't respond right away, he was still staring at the blade. Then his smirk returned, colder than before. Oof. I thought it was lost in the fall of the Uzumaki. The crimson edge, forged in blood and sealed in fire. They say it cut through entire platoons during the Second Great War. He chuckled. I didn't expect some brat to be waving it around like a toy. Naruto stepped forward. I'm not some brat. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. And this blade's mine now. Zabuza didn't reply. He simply shifted his stance, bringing the executioner's blade down with a dull thud in the dirt. I'll cut you all down anyway. But maybe I'll keep the sword. Kakashi took a step forward, his voice calm but steely. You'll be dead before you reach it. With a sharp gesture, he pulled up his Hitayate, revealing his Sharingan. Zabuza's smirk only widened, the grip on his blade becoming deadly. The air grew thick. Chakras surged between the two jounin, the sheer pressure making the younger shinobi sweat. Hinata, Sasuke, Naruto. Stay back and protect the client, Kakashi ordered. This guy is on a different level. The mist churned around them like breathing smoke. Then in a blur, the battle began. Water exploded upward as Zabuza vanished and reappeared in a flicker, swinging his massive blade. Kakashi parried just in time, skidding back with a controlled slide. Lightning-fast hand signs followed. Water style, Water Dragon Bullet Jutsu. Zabuza responded in kind, mimicking the signs perfectly. Two enormous dragons of water collided midair, spraying the forest path in sheets of rain. Meanwhile, Naruto stood near Tazuna with his blade drawn, watching intently. He's fast, but not as fast as Mom when she's mad. Sasuke stayed on Naruto's left, tense. We can't help, not against this kind of monster. Hinata kept her Byakugan active, scanning. There's Zabuza splitting into a water clone, Sensei is on the right. Naruto clenched the crimson edge tighter. Then we can help. Zabuza managed to trap Kakashi inside the water prison jutsu, leaving a clone behind to guard it. He can't move, he's trapped, Hinata said to Naruto and Sasuke. We have to do something. Naruto growled. Zabuza chuckled from within the mist. Don't bother. One wrong move and your sensei's lungs fill with water. You kids stay put and die quietly. But Naruto took a slow breath. No. I'm not letting anyone die. He looked at Sasuke, who was already loading shuriken. We got a plan? Sasuke nodded. You distract. I strike. Naruto grinned. Just like training, let's go. He rushed forward with a flurry of kunai, his motions chaotic but controlled, designed to distract the clone. Sasuke vanished into the mist. The clone smirked and swatted the kunai away. Predictable. But just as it moved to intercept Naruto, Sasuke struck from behind, shuriken flying. The clone grabbed one, but poof! One of the shuriken morphed into Naruto, kunai drawn. It all happened in a flash. But Zabuza's clone turned to water just in time. TCH. The clone began reforming, but then. The crimson edge glowed. A pulse, deep and ancient, reverberated in Naruto's hand. It was a hum more than sound. The edge lit up with red sigils that trailed from the hilt like embers in the mist. Naruto froze. What the? Sasuke blinked. Your swords. Zabuza's real body snapped his head toward the sound from within the dome. That blade, it's waking up? The mist shimmered strangely around the weapon. The crimson edge, dormant for decades, reacted to Naruto's chakra. His chakra is pure, golden, and vast, the essence of the sage himself. Naruto instinctually raised it, and the air itself warped slightly. The reforming clone staggered, steam hissing off its watery form like it had been cut by heat alone. The Uzumaki pendant on Naruto's neck glowed faintly in harmony. Whoa! Hinata gasped from the sidelines. That sword, it's alive. Zabuza growled. No way. Only the Sage of Six Paths has been able to use the sword's true power, it's written, set in stone. Kakashi, from within the water prison, smiled beneath the surface. He's growing, already. Naruto exhaled and slashed downward. Crimson Slice. The blade howled through the air, not just a jutsu, but raw energy cleaving through the water clone before it could reform. The clone burst apart in a hiss of boiling steam. And in an instant, Kakashi was free. Thanks, Naruto. In one smooth motion, he dropped beside his student, his eye glowing with power. Now it's my turn. Zabuza barely had time to react before he realized. His own hand signs were being copied in real time. Every movement mirrored with perfection. His breath grew ragged. That eye. Kakashi didn't even blink. Too late. And in a dazzling explosion of chakra, mist, and motion, Zabuza was defeated, caught in his own technique, speared and broken. Kakashi would approach him cautiously, only for a mist hunter Nin to strike Zabuza down with Senbon. Aftermath. Mist cleared. As Zabuza's unconscious body collapsed, Kakashi remained still, watching the hunter Nin take him. Naruto lowered the crimson edge, the red glow fading. That sword, it moved on its own. Kakashi looked at him. No. It moved because it chose you. Sasuke glanced over. Show off. Naruto grinned. Jealous, tomato boy? Sasuke rolled his eyes but smirked anyway. Hinata simply walked up and looked at the sword in Naruto's hand with wide, respectful eyes. Her clan researched all relics wielded and made by the Sage of Six Paths. This was one of them. It's not just a weapon, it's part of your legacy. Naruto grinned as he looked down at Crimson Edge, still pulsing faintly. Then I'll live up to it. Tazuna's house. Afternoon. Sunlight drifted through the open windows. Kakashi remained resting on a mat, his breath steady, recovering from the Sharingan strain. Tsunami moved quietly in the background preparing tea while Inari peered around the corner at the ninja in wide-eyed awe. Naruto sat on the floor, staring down at the crimson edge, the blade laid across his lap. It still shimmered faintly, even at rest. Sasuke leaned against the wall, arms crossed. So Hyuga, what else do you know? Hinata sat properly with her hands folded. I didn't want to overwhelm you before, Naruto-kun. But I think you should know the rest. She looked at the blade. The Crimson Edge has a legend beyond the sage. After him, the only wielder to ever reach the second stage of its power was Ashura Uzumaki, one of the few remaining patriarchs before the fall of your clan. It said that he was so powerful, even the first Hokage respected him. Naruto's eyes widened. I've never heard that name before. Hinata nodded. It was hidden. Only recorded in Hyuga archives and a few remnants the Uzumaki left behind in secret scrolls. Were there any other welders? Sasuke asked. Mito Uzumaki. Hinata replied softly. She was chosen by the blade, too. The scroll said she wielded it with grace and strength, but she never unlocked its second stage. Her chakra was strong, but not pure enough. Not like Arashi's. Or. She trailed off. Naruto blinked. Or. Hinata blushed faintly. I think it recognizes you. The blade hums in your hand. It pulses like it's alive. That only happens for someone with chakra untainted, raw, and ancient. Naruto looked down at the sword. Well, if they're watching, I won't disappoint them. Night. Naruto's mind. Darkness. Then suddenly light, soft and golden, flickering like candle flames. Naruto found himself standing in a stone chamber that looked like a temple. The crimson edge floated before him, suspended in the air, glowing brighter than ever. A deep voice echoed. So, the blade has chosen again. Naruto turned. A tall man stood behind him, with long crimson hair tied back, wearing armor engraved with the Uzumaki spiral and a weathered white cloak. His presence was massive, but calm. Wise. Who? I am Ashura Uzumaki. And you are my great-great-great-grandson. Another presence stepped from the shadows beside him. Graceful. Warm. Dignified. I am Mito Uzumaki. First Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Wife to Hashirama Senju. And you are my great-great-grandson. Naruto's breath caught. I've heard of you. Both of you. Ashura stepped forward. We carried this blade. We protected this legacy. But you are something more. You carry the fire of the old world and the spark of the new. Mito nodded, her voice gentle. The Crimson Edge responds to your spirit because it remembers. The purity of our people flows strongest in you. But the second stage is not given, Naruto. It is earned through resolve. Through loss. Through love. Naruto swallowed, his hand reaching toward the blade. It glowed brighter. Arashi's voice deepened. If you wish to awaken it fully, you must survive the trials ahead. Protect your team. Learn your limits and shatter them. And when the time comes, Mito added, do not be afraid of what burns inside you. You are not just a Jinchuriki. You are the flame that sleeps. Naruto stepped forward and grasped the blade. It pulsed, warmer than fire, deeper than chakra. He felt it throughout his entire body. And then, morning, Tazuna's house. Naruto's eyes opened slowly, a quiet hum filling his ears. The blade beside his bed glowed faintly, red patterns crawling across its surface like veins awakening. He sat up slowly, breath fogging for a moment. I'll protect them, he whispered. He could still hear Arashi's voice echoing in his chest. Awaken, and carry the fire forward. Scene change, downstairs, Tazuna's house. The smell of miso soup and grilled fish filled the air as Team 7 sat around the low table. Hinata quietly passed out rice bowls while Sasuke picked at his food with thought. Naruto, of course, was halfway through his second bowl. Kakashi leaned against the doorframe, sipping tea with his visible eye narrowed. He broke the silence. Zabuza isn't dead. Naruto nearly choked on his food. What? But he got killed, we saw it. Kakashi nodded. Sanban. Paralyzing points. Meant to fake death, not cause it. That hunter Nin was no ally of the mist. He's more likely Zabuza's accomplice. Sasuke scowled. So what now? Do we wait for him to show up again? We prepare. Kakashi said simply. You'll all be training for the next 2 weeks. You all will be training to get ready. As he spoke, he took out a stack of chakra paper from his pouch. This paper reacts to your chakra. Depending on how it responds, we'll know what element you're most naturally attuned to. He handed each of them a piece. Focus your chakra through the paper. Steady and centered. Naruto squinted in concentration, holding the paper between his fingers. It split cleanly down the middle. Wind nature. Kakashi observed, nodding. Rare in the leaf. Naruto blinked at the paper. That's it? Kakashi raised an eyebrow. That's your natural affinity. It doesn't mean you're limited to it. But across the table, Hinata's eyes lingered a moment longer. She had activated her Byakugan subtly, not out of suspicion, just curiosity. Her expression changed slightly. The paper hadn't just spilt. In her eyes, she saw flashes of fire, water, lightning, and earth. These faint traces pulsing around the edge of the paper before the wind chakra took dominance. Her lips parted slightly, but she said nothing. Not yet. She turned her attention to her own paper, placing it in her palm and challenging her chakra. It crinkled and softened, like damp cloth. Water. Kakashi confirmed. Precise and fluid. Fits you. Sasuke's paper was next. It burned the corner, then crackled into ash. Fire and lightning. Impressive. You've got two strong affinities. Naruto pouted. Wait, me and Hina-chan only got one. Most people do. Kakashi said. You can possibly learn more, just wind and water are your two strongest. He stood up and clapped his hands. All right. From today on, I'll be helping each of you learn 5 jutsu based on your chakra nature. Offensive, defensive, movement-based, whatever fits your style. Sasuke looked skeptical. 5? You've got 2 weeks. It's possible. Kakashi said. If you don't slack. Naruto grinned. I'm gonna master them all and still have time for ramen. Hinata smiled softly. Let's all do our best. Kakashi gave a rare chuckle. Glad to hear it. We start after breakfast. Scene change, lake. The sun hung high over a lake nestled just outside Tezuna's property. Team 7 stood at the edge, looking out across the rippling surface. Kakashi stood on the water calmly, hands in his pockets. Water walking is about constant chakra flow, not bursts like tree climbing. You must adjust every second. Naruto placed a foot on the surface. It immediately sank with a loud splash. Okay. Definitely harder. Sasuke tried next, managing 2 steps before dropping into the water with a grunt. Hinata stepped forward quietly, calm and focused. She glided forward several feet, pausing delicately on the surface like it was glass. Naruto's jaw dropped. Oh, come on. How are you so calm? Hinata flushed red but held steady. Kakashi smiled under the mask. Impressive control. He looked at the rest of them. You'll get it with practice. And when you're not walking, you're learning. Naruto stood ankle deep in the water, scowling. Ugh, why can't I get it to stay steady? He took a step, and with a loud splash, sank knee deep again. Sasuke, a few feet away, gritted his teeth. His feet hovered on the surface for half a second before he also dipped through, catching himself with chakra in a small burst. TCH. Hinata remained on the water, standing as if it were solid ground. Her chakra control was near flawless. Try not to flood your chakra all at once, she said gently. It's about rhythm, like breathing. You have to feed your chakra into your feet slowly, like letting water from a cup drip instead of splash. Naruto scratched the back of his head, then grinned sheepishly. So basically, I've been stomping chakra in like ramen broth instead of drizzling it like tea? Hinata blushed faintly, then nodded. Sort of. Sasuke frowned, closing his eyes and focusing. His chakra swirled more tightly, less erratic. He took a step forward, no splash. Then another. Still steady. Naruto followed suit, tongue sticking out in concentration as he mimicked Hinata's tip. His foot hovered on the surface, and stayed. He let out a cheer. Yes. Hina-chan, you're a genius. She looked away, flustered. It was nothing. Kakashi gave a nod of approval. Good. Mastery of this level of control is key in combat. If you can keep it while fighting, you'll be able to battle in terrain others would sink in. Sasuke looked over at Naruto, who grinned at him. You ready for a water spar, team? Sasuke smirked. Don't go crying when I dunk you. Naruto surged forward, chakra steady as he leapt across the water's surface. Sasuke met him, their feet barely rippling the lake. Kakashi watched as the two clashed, not just training their chakra, but learning trust through rivalry. And from the edge of the lake, Hinata smiled. The water rippled with every movement as Naruto and Sasuke faced off, both standing firmly on the surface of the lake. You're getting cocky already. Sasuke muttered, his Sharingan spinning to life. Naruto grinned, gripping the hilt of Crimson Edge on his back but not drawing it yet. Maybe. But I know you're not one to talk. Sasuke darted forward with a burst of speed, delivering a sharp kick. Naruto blocked it with his forearm, the impact creating a splash beneath their feet. They clashed across the lake, taijutsu meeting raw instinct, chakra control keeping them afloat with each move. A misstep could mean sinking, so every movement tested both combat skill and chakra precision. Meanwhile, on the back, Kakashi stood beside Hinata, his single visible eye following both bots with a calm gaze. You're already mastered water walking. Not bad. He said, then he gave Hinata a eye smile. This jutsu takes one hand signs, it'll be perfect for you, Hinata. As he spoke, a small orb of water hovered above his palm. This jutsu is water release, serpent lash. It requires shaping water like a whip that responds to movement and intent. You won't need raw power, just grace and control. Hinata nodded, forming the monkey seal slowly. The water responded with hesitation at first, forming a thin tendril. Kakashi corrected her stance with a small tap on the shoulder. Let it flow, not drag. With a breath, Hinata steadied herself, and the whip cracked through the air, slapping into a nearby tree and nearly hitting Naruto, causing them to hear a scream and a splash. The Enter-team laughed while Hinata looked embarrassed. Naruto jumped out of the water, even laughing himself as his spat with Sasuke was almost over, but they'll end it there. That was good. With refinement, you'll be able to disarm, defend, or even trap. Kakashi smiled. You've got potential, Hyuga. Kakashi and Hinata would walk back to the shore, standing in front of Naruto and Sasuke, who sat on a tree laughing with each other. Kakashi made two shadow clones appear beside him. One clone will work with Hinata. The other with Naruto. I'll stay with Sasuke. You're each getting 5 jutsu, are you all okay with that? Hi sensei. All of the genin said in unison, Hinata's clone returning to the lake, Naruto's clone walking into the forest, and Kakashi walking into a clearing with Sasuke. Scene change, forest. Naruto skipped through the forest, stopping under a large, broken tree. Kakashi's clone looked at him. We'll start with wind style. Your chakra nature. Yes. Naruto pumped his fist. Let's go. Is this the Super Hurricane Death Jutsu War? It's Gale Palm. Kakashi said dryly. Oh. The clone held up his hand, forming the ram, horse, bird seals. Channel wind chakra into your palm. Not too much, not too little. Then push. With a swift thrust, Kakashi released a focus guard that split a tree stump clean in half. Naruto grinned. Okay, Kakashi and I watch this. He mirrored the seals and flung his palm forward. Boom! A massive gust blew through the clearing, sending leaves flying, flipping the clone's mask halfway up his face. The choke fixed his mask, blinking. you don't lack power. Yeah. Naruto grinned. Wait. Was that a compliment? But you'll need control. Kakashi finished flatly. Scene change, clearing. Kakashi stood with his arms folded as Sasuke practiced hand seals. You've got fire and lightning nature, which the lightning is rare but the fire makes sense. We'll work on fire for now. Kakashi smiled, going through hand signs. Fire style, Phoenix Fire Jutsu. He formed the rat, tiger, dog, ox, rabbit, tiger seals and exhaled a flurry of small, flaming orbs shot from his mouth, rapid and targeted. This is about accuracy, not power. Sasuke's Sharingan flared to life. I saw the chakra movements in your chest. I can mimic that. Good. Try it. Sasuke stepped forward and mirrored the hand signs. His first attempt fired wildly into the trees. One fireball hit a squirrel's nest, which promptly collapsed. Too much output. Kakashi warned. Control your breath, not just your chakra. He tried again, this time the flames curved slightly, like birds in formation. Sasuke slightly smirked at this. Scene change, lake. Kakashi's clone slowly went through hand signs. Tiger, snake, rat, snake, tiger. Water style, water wall. A deep inhale. Then from his mouth, a surge of water poured out in a tight stream, hitting the lake and spiraling around them in a controlled arc. The stream rose and circled, forming a transparent dome-like wall of rushing water, completely encasing them with only a slight hum of pressure. Hinata's eyes widened with awe. It forms, from you? Only if you're not standing on water. He explained. If you are like now, you can draw from the lake instead. The chakra decides its form, its strength, and its purpose. He stepped back. Now your turn. Hinata nodded, forming the same hand signs with deliberate care. She stood still, focused, her Byakugan inactive now. She wanted to feel the technique. She took a deep breath, then released a narrow stream of water from her mouth. It struck the lake in front of her and with a swirling motion of her chakra, it gathered the water around her feet, spiraling rapidly until it rose in a circular wall, surrounding her like a vortex. The wall rose clear and tall, casting reflections of the sunlight in shimmering ripples. She was perfectly centered within it. Naruto, watching from the nearby tree stump, gasped with his mouth full of rice. Yo, Hina-chan's summoning whirlpools now? Sasuke muttered under his breath. It's a jutsu, dobe. Kakashi's clone gave a rare, proud nod. Beautiful control. It's not just a shield. The wall can knock back enemies when it rises. And because it's clear, you can track everything through it without breaking your stance. Hinata let the water gently disperse and smiled, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. I can do better. You will. Scene change, forest. This one's easy. Infuse chakra into thrown weapons. Naruto took a handful of shuriken, poured wind chakra in, and threw. The weapons howled through the trees, slicing thin grooves into a tree before embedding perfectly. The clone whistled. Those are deadly. Scene change, clearing. Move your chakra to your feet. Ignite only the souls. No more than 30% output. Kakashi instructed. Sasuke exhaled and activated the jutsu. He vanished in a blur, flame trail spiraling in his wake. He reappeared a few feet away, scuffling the grass. He smirked. Kakashi nodded. It's a good start. Scene change, open field, afternoon. All three genin returned to the same open field. Naruto was covered in soot and leaf cuts. Hinata was damp but focused. Sasuke looked flawless, of course. Kakashi stood waiting, sipping tea. 2 jutsu each. That's the first step. He tilted his head. Tomorrow, you get 3 more. And they won't be as easy. Naruto groaned. This was the easy day? Hinata sat quietly, already reviewing hand signs in her mind. Sasuke stared at the sky, eyes thoughtful. Kakashi gave an eye smile. Scene change, midnight, Naruto's mindscape. The night outside was calm, but inside Naruto's mind, a storm of potential brewed. Naruto stood barefoot in the familiar crimson grass field within his subconscious. The crimson edge floated at his side, its aura warmer now, it was responsive, even welcoming. Ashura stood several paces away, his long hair flowing in the invisible wind, while Mito stood behind him with a soft smile and the grace of a queen. Ashura spoke first. You've grown. The sword recognizes you more each time we meet. But you've only scratched its surface. Naruto nodded, gripping his blade. Then let's go deeper. Ashura nodded, and a clone of himself appeared, it slashed forward with a red afterimage. Naruto blocked the strike, sparks flying as the sword whined in protest. Stage 1, Resonate Pulse. Ashura called out. Focus your chakra into the hilt, not the blade. Let the blade act as a channel, not a weapon. Naruto grunted and refocused, letting his chakra flow like water into the hilt. The edge of the blade shimmered, letting out a low hum. Feel that? Ashura grinned. Now it's awake. Naruto exhaled, stepping into stance. Meanwhile, the wind stirred gently through the crimson grass, curling around Mito Uzumaki's figure like she was part of the landscape itself. Her long red hair billowed in rhythm with her chakra, which is calm, controlled, eternal. A Naruto shadow clone stood in front of her, eyes wide with anticipation. I've seen your shadow clone jutsu. My brother-in-law, Tobirama, created it. She said softly, a glint of pride in her eyes. But you're wasting its true power. Naruto blinked, tilting his head. What are you talking about, back on? Mito's expression sharpened, still maternal but firm. When a clone learns, you learn. When a clone trains, you grow. With your chakra, you can train hundreds of times faster than any shinobi alive. She gently raised her hand, and a swirl of wind formed at her fingertips. So let's use it. Create 5 clones. In a poof, 5 shadow clones stood at attention, alert and ready. Mito smiled again. Good. You're about to learn techniques passed down from the Uzumaki's original homeland, and a style only our clan could wield. 1. Wind Release, Gale Shuriken. Clone number 1. A wide, flat disc of compressed wind chakra. Infuse it with rotation. Feel the air bend, not resist. Guide it, don't throw it. The clone practiced launching spinning chakra blades across the air, learning to control them mid-flight using subtle chakra threads in the fingertips. 2. Wind Release, Whisper Step. Clone number 2. A soft step technique using air cushions to move without a sound. You'll become a breeze. Not felt. Not seen. Perfect for stealth and dodging, the clone trained to mask even the sound of clothing rustling by dispersing air through his feet and joints. 3. Wind Release, Cutting Spiral. Clone number 3. A vortex of air compressed tightly, launched like a raisin-sized saw blade. Control. Tighter chakra spirals. Imagine the blade carving even the mist. This clone worked on stability and compression, knowing that power was only useful if it could be held and aimed precisely. 4. Wind Release, Vacuum Shell Guard. Clone number 4. An invisible, thin barrier of rotating air used to block incoming projectiles. Think of a wall. But soft, invisible, and alive. Used for defense, the clone learned to rotate air tightly in front of the body, creating a semi-passive shield. 5. Wind release, shearing jet fong. Clone number 5. A direct, jet stream attack using compressed air in fawn-like arcs. This one has bite. Use it when you can see your enemy's breath. With Mito's help, the clone practiced turning breath itself into a pressurized projectile. Back with the real Naruto inside the mindscape, Mito stood facing him with a calm expression on her face as she shifted her stance slightly, right foot behind, body twisted sideways, fingers in a flowing guard. The whirlpool style, she said, is a lost art. It used fluid movement, redirection, and spinning momentum. We don't overpower our foes, we outlast them. She stepped forward and spun, pushing her palm into the air, and wind wrapped around her arm. Step. Spin. Twist. Flow like a whirlpool. She beckoned him. Now you. Naruto mimicked her movements, stumbling at first. Kinda feels like Tai Chi with chakra. Mito smiled. Exactly. The longer you fight, the stronger you get. Your stamina is your greatest weapon. Channel it, make your enemies chase ghosts. That trained like this for hours in mindscape time with Naruto refining his footwork, the rotation of his hips, the breath-tied timing of each strike. She showed him open palm counters, smooth kicks that flowed into wind strikes, and how to use spinning momentum to launch wind release attacks seamlessly mid-combat. By the time you leave here, Mito whispered, you won't just be an Uzumaki by name, you'll fight like one. Scene change, real world. Naruto's eyes blinked open, breath steady, body still. In the real world, it had only been a few seconds. To him, hours of training. He slowly stood up, clenching his fists and extending his fingers. The wind gently responded, curling around his palms. Thanks, Ashura Gigi, thanks Mito, Bakun. Scene change, clearing, early morning. The morning mist clung low to the forest floor, disturbed only by bursts of elemental chakra as the clearing came alive with training. Kakashi stood on a nearby stump, his hands in his pockets, looking down at his team with a quiet pride. His 3 shadow clones stood spread out, each working with a different student. Alright, today's not just about learning, it's about pushing past what you think you can't do. These jutsu are real. They're advanced. You'll struggle. Good. That's the point. Kakashi once again made 2 clones, one for Naruto and the other for Hinata. Kakashi would train Sasuke himself. Lightning release, arc piercer. Kakashi demonstrated first, lightning sparking from his palm before hardening into a spear of crackling blue energy. Your chakra control's sharp, so this should suit you. But the key is condensation, not just charge. Sakura focused. He built up the chakra quickly, but his first attempt fizzled midair, the spear unraveling before it could be thrown. He gritted his teeth again. The second time, it flew but veered sideways and exploded into a tree. Don't force it. Precision, not pressure. Kakashi remained. By the 4th attempt, Sasuke nailed it. The spear flew clean and true, cracking through a boulder. Lightning release, thunder veil. This time, Sasuke's chakras surrounded his body, but wavered violently. Too much output. Kakashi warned. You'll fry yourself before you fry them. Sasuke adjusted, lowering the intensity until his body hummed with a controlled charge. He threw a kunai into the air and let it bounce off his shoulder, sparks crackled and launched it back upward. A grin tugged at the corner of his lips. Now that's useful. Fire release, dragon flash spiral. Sasuke took a deep breath and tried to launch the flaming spiral, only for the flame to sputter and die mid-spin. Tame the air currents, Kakashi instructed. You control the spiral with your breath and chakra, not just raw heat. After multiple tries, Sasuke released a swirling blaze that coiled upward like a serpent, striking a cliff wall and scorching it black. He panted heavily, but his eyes burned with satisfaction. Meanwhile, with Naruto, a Kakashi clone led Naruto deeper into the woods for explosive range practice. Wind release, cyclone grip. Naruto attempted to wrap air around his fists, but the wind was wild and unpredictable. Stop trying to force the air, the clone said. Coax it. Let it dance around your chakra. Naruto furrowed his brow, adjusted his stance, and tried again. This time, the swirling wind formed tight rings around his arms. When he punched a log, it cracked in half. Oh, that's sick. Wind release, storm vortex palm. Next, Naruto tried firing bursts of wind from his hands. The first attempt blew dirt into his face. The second cracked a rock. By the fifth, he launched a tight, spinning gale that blasted through 3 stumps in a row. I'm a storm, Databeo. Kakashi's clone lightly chuckled. Wind clone explosion. This took the most chakra. He made a clone, infused it with spinning wind, and had it charge a boulder. Boom! Wind exploded outward in a sharp pulse. The trees rattled. But Naruto dropped to a knee, breathing heavily. Ugh, that really takes a lot out of me. The Kakashi clone helped him sit against a tree trunk. Meanwhile, with Hinata. By the lake, Hinata stood with another Kakashi clone. Water release, mist shroud. Hinata knelt by the water, hands forming the correct seals. Don't just make mist. Shape it. The clone guided. Remember, Byakugan gives you the edge. A thick dome of mist burst out, and she vanished within it. The clone stepped in to simulate an opponent, but couldn't see a thing. Where'd you go? She tapped his shoulder from behind. Right here. Water release, shattering tendril. She formed the whip again, now with the explosive tip. Her first swings lacked control, sending water spraying everywhere. Too wide. Sharpen the point. She adjusted, her movements elegant, and on the next strike, the whip slammed into a post, exploded, and needles of water tore through multiple targets. Gentle stream barrage. This was the most difficult, combining Hyuga precision and elemental force. Her first strike was just a wet palm. The second cracked the surface of a rock. By the fifth, her palm hit, and a stream of pressurized water burst through the rock like a bullet. Excellent, the clone said, impressed. Deadly from the inside out. Hinata bowed slightly, calm but proud. Scene change, forest aftermath. The training ground had gone still, the morning mist rising slowly with the sun. Naruto lay back against the base of a large tree, sweat still clinging to his brow, chest rising and falling in deep, tired breaths. His head tilted back. Eyes closed. Man, I'm beat. The leaves rustled faintly nearby. Step, step. Naruto cracked one eye open, sensing someone nearby. Not chakra, exactly, just a presence. Calm. Gentle. A tall figure in a simple yukata stepped from the brush, holding a woven basket filled with herbs. Their face was youthful, soft, and androgynous. Long black hair framed their gentle expression. You're up early, the stranger said quietly. Naruto sat up a little straighter, blinking. Huh? Oh, yeah, kinda got caught up with training, you know? Huh? He looked around. Wait, you're not from the village. Who are you? The stranger smiled softly. Just a traveler. I was collecting herbs. Naruto studied their face. Something about them was peaceful. Kind. You're really pretty, handsome? The stranger only chuckled lightly, kneeling down to pick up some wildflowers growing by a log. Does it matter? Naruto blinked. Guess not. There was a short silence between them, but it wasn't awkward. Just quiet. You live around here? Naruto asked, curiosity blooming. Nearby. I help someone important to me. He's sick, I gather medicine to keep him healthy. Naruto's expression softened. That's nice of you. Taking care of someone like that. The stranger nodded. You train hard. You have a kind heart, too. I can tell. Naruto grinned, rubbing the back of his head. Heh, thanks. Gotta get stronger, you know? I made a promise to protect my friends and family. I'm gonna be Hokage someday. Believe it. Hokage. Yeah. The strongest ninja in the village. I wanna protect the people I care about. And earn their respect. The stranger's eyes lowered, thoughtful. That's a beautiful dream. But its strength alone isn't enough. Sometimes, those with the kindest hearts suffer the most. Naruto looked at him more closely. You sound like you've been through a lot. I have. The stranger said softly. Where I'm from, people like me weren't wanted. I had to become something else. Something useful. Naruto frowned. What do you mean? A tool. The stranger said, looking up. A weapon. A moment passed. Naruto shook his head. You're not a tool. You're a person. With a dream. The stranger stared at him, quietly stunned. Thank you. Naruto stood up, brushing himself off. You got a name? Haku. Naruto smiled and offered a hand. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet you, Haku. Haku stared at the outstretched hand, then slowly took it. Their handshake lingered. Haku's voice quieter now, almost like a whisper of wind. I hope your dream comes true, Naruto. You too. Naruto replied. Haku slightly smiled, now walking away from the forest before turning to Naruto. I'm a boy, by the way. Naruto gasped and his mouth hung wide open. He watched as Haku vanished in the tree line while he heard him lightly laughing. What, he's as cute as Hina-chan. Scene change, Zabuza's hideout. The scene of herbs hung low in the mist-shrouded boathouse. Zabuza's bandages were freshly wrapped, his massive blade leaning against the wall. Haku worked silently by the fire, mixing salves in a stone bowl. Crunch, crunch. Heavy boots disturbed the gravel outside. Mist curled tighter around the clearing like it had a will of its own. Zabuza didn't move, his eyes narrowing. He's here. He muttered. Haku didn't answer. The mist parted to reveal Gato, flanked by thugs. Greasy, armed, and far too smug for their own good thugs. Zabuza. Gato said with that snake oil smile. You're a hard man to find when you're licking your wounds. Zabuza didn't look up. I'm healing. Not hiding. Right, right. Gato said, waving it off. Listen. I've been thinking. Maybe I was too quick to cut you off. Those leaf brats and the old bridge builder? They're still alive. You want the job done, I want it done, so here's the offer. He held up 2 fingers and grinned wide. Double the pay. Kill the builder. Get rid of those leaf punks. You finish the job, you walk away richer than ever. Zabuza's silence was heavy. Haku finally turned, staring directly at Gato. And if we say no? Gato's grin didn't fade, but his voice hardened. Then you're liabilities. And I don't pay liabilities. Zabuza would only chuckle darkly, his killer intent leaking out as he glared at Gato. We'll do it, if you don't pay we kill you. Scene change, Land of Waves Market. The morning sun peeked through the clouds, its soft rays spilling over the quiet village of the Land of Waves. Mist clung to the streets like faded memories, but life buzzed in small ways, children running, carts rattling, old men calling out fish prices. Naruto and Hinata walked on either side of Tsunami, arms full of baskets, both wearing smiles. Villagers watched them with a mix of curiosity and cautious hope. Just a few days ago, these streets were hushed by fear. Now, there was laughter again. Thanks again, you two. Tsunami said, brushing her hair behind her ear. We haven't had much help in the markets lately. You've both got good hearts. Ha! No problem. Naruto grinned bright, balancing 3 baskets in each hand. I mean, carrying stuff is easy. I've got clone training and bridge-saving muscles. Hinata let out a small, quiet giggle, her face dusted pink. Naruto turned toward her, raising an eyebrow. What? Did I say something funny? And no. I mean, yes, but in a good way, Hinata stammered, fiddling with the edge of her sleeve. You're always so full of energy, Naruto-kun. It's nice. Naruto blinked, then smiled wide. Well, someone's gotta keep the vibe up around here, you know? They reached a food stall where an elderly man struggled to unload sacks of rice. Hinata stepped forward immediately, activating her Byakugan for a moment to gauge his balance and joints. She quietly took the heavy sack and placed it beside his cart with gentle precision. Here, you shouldn't lift this. It could hurt your back. The old man blinked in surprise, then nodded gratefully. Thank you, dear. You've got eyes like a goddess. Hinata flushed and bowed politely. Naruto watched from the side, visibly impressed. Whoa. That was smooth, Hinata. That your Byakugan thing? She nodded with a faint smile. I've been trying to use it more practically. That's awesome. You're kinda amazing, you know that? Her breath hitched. Thank you. There was a pause, warm and light, as they continued down the path with Tsunami. Naruto glanced sideways at her. Hey. I know I kinda talk a lot, but you're really cool to hang out with. I mean it. Hinata looked up at him. Her fingers curled around the strap of her basket. She hesitated, then spoke clearly. I like being around you, Naruto-kun. You make me feel brave. Naruto grinned, rubbing the back of his head. Ha! That's gotta be the nicest thing anyone said to me all week. They exchanged a look. Just a small moment. Not overly dramatic. Not romantic just yet. Just real. Scene change, the bridge. The rhythmic pounding of hammers filled the air on the bridge. Kakashi stood atop a scaffold, arms crossed, his one visible eye scanning every shadow and worker. Below, Sasuke walked calmly beside Tazuna, his gaze sharp, ever aware. "We'll keep patrols every 20 minutes," he said to Kakashi, who nodded. "Good plan. You've got the instincts. I'm not letting anyone hurt him." Sasuke's jaw was tight, but there was something focused and calmer in him now. Not as angry. More determined. "Alright, we're going to time skip a bit. Team 7 during the weeks did team bonding, switching who stays with the family and Tazuna and all of that good stuff. All of Team 7 has a good grasp of water walking." Scene change, Tazuna's house. The warm scent of rice lingered faintly in the air as the sun began to rise over the land of waves. Kakashi, Sasuke, and Hinata had left early with Tazuna to guard the bridge, trusting Naruto to rest back at the house due to the chakra exhaustion from training. Inside, Naruto lay sprawled across the futon, lightly snoring. Tsunami was tidying the kitchen while Inari sat nearby, staring blankly at the floor. His usual gloomy look hadn't faded, until the creak of the back door made them both freeze. Crash! The door slammed open. 3 gruff men wearing mismatched armor and holding chipped blades stomped in. Their eyes gleamed with cruelty. "Found M. Gato wants the woman and the brat, said not to make it clean." Tsunami immediately stepped in front of Inari. "Get out. You have no right." One bandit grabbed her arm roughly while the other began moving toward the boy. Naruto's eyes snapped open. At first, he thought it was part of a dream, but then he heard Tsunami scream. "Let go of her." The bedroom door burst open, and in the blink of an eye, Naruto was in the hallway. A cold fury lit his features, he didn't hesitate. "You picked the wrong house." Boom! A single kick launched the first bandit through the wall. The second lunged at Naruto with a knife, only to be slammed into the floor with a chakra-enhanced punch that cracked the tile beneath him. The last bandit froze. Naruto's aura was practically leaking from him, a flicker of red chakra dancing at his back. "Why, you monster?" Poof! A shadow clone exploded in his face, knocking him out cold. Tsunami pulled Inari close, shaking but safe. Naruto turned to the boy and knelt down. "You have to protect her from now on, Inari. Even if you're scared." Inari blinked up at him, stunned. But I'm not. I'm not like you." Naruto grinned, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder. "You don't need to be like me. You just need to be brave. That's what being strong really means." Inari stared for a moment, then nodded slowly. Naruto stood, grabbing his jacket and the crimson-edged blade that shimmered softly against the sunlight now spilling into the broken hallway. "Time to finish this." He vanished in a burst of wind. Scene change, the bridge. The mist was already thick by the time Naruto reached the bridge, running at full speed. The sound of clashing steel and cries echoed in the distance. Kakashi was already locked in deadly combat with Zabuza, the clang of kunai and Kobakira Bocho shaking the air. Hinata stood protectively near Tazuna, her Byakugan active, sending bursts of chakra to disrupt enemy movements and guiding Kakashi with her precision. Sasuke stood inside the demonic ice mirrors, facing off against Haku, who was weaving through a flurry of Senbon and mirrors, Sasuke's Sharingan beginning to spin faintly as he pushed his limits. Naruto skidded to a halt, eyes locked on the chaotic scene of everything. He reached behind his back and unsheathed the crimson edge, the ancient blade humming to life in his hands. "Don't worry, guy, Naruto Uzumaki is here." Sasuke gritted his teeth, blood running down his arms and shoulders as he tried to deflect or dodge, but Haku was too fast. The mirrors made him impossible to follow. He couldn't touch him. And then... "Sasuke!" Naruto's voice echoed, cutting through the mist like a shockwave. He sprinted toward the dome, leaping into the air, hand cocked back with a kunai ready. I'm coming in. Hinata turned sharply. Naruto, wait. But he was already there. The dome pulsed with chakra as he entered, trapped alongside Sasuke. Naruto crouched beside Sasuke, eyes darting to every surface. What the hell is this? Sasuke hissed. Some mirror jutsu. He's inside them. A blur appeared, Sunban flew. Naruto rolled to the side, slashing them with crimson edge, barely deflecting a few. Another blur. More Sunban. A shallow wound tore across his cheek. Haku's emotionless voice echoed through the ice dome. You won't escape my ultimate jutsu alive. Whatever you say, masked guy, we're taking you down. They both moved fast, trying to locate and attack Haku, but every strike missed. Sasuke's Sharingan swirled faster and faster, tracking what he could, until... Wish! Sasuke stood bloodied and barely breathing, Sunban sticking from his back like pins in a doll. His Sharingan flickered. Naruto caught his body, falling to his knees with wide, disbelieving eyes. You idiot, why'd you jump in front of me? Sasuke's smirk was faint. Because I couldn't stand seeing you die before me. And then, silence. Naruto trembled. This mist twisted around him, so did something inside him. His heart pounded with rage. And sorrow. You're gonna pay. A pulse of crimson chakra exploded from Naruto, twisting violently through the air, scorching the ground around him. But his chakra, it wasn't just red. Blue. Brown. Yellow. Green. Chakra of all five natures surged from his body and spiraled around him like a cyclone, a whirlpool of creation. And in the middle of it, Naruto stood silent. Eyes glowing with spiraling galaxies. Sozugan. Divine perception. Truth awakened. The ground shook. The air vibrated. Even the ice mirrors themselves bent away from the pressure. This isn't chakra. This is something beyond that. What are you? Naruto's mouth opened, but no words came. Only the howling sound of all of the elements speaking at once. The wind screamed. The fire hissed. The earth shook. The water rippled. The lightning danced across his skin. Suddenly he raised a hand, palm open. Frost formed so cold, it was freezing the air. Haku gasped. That's my Kekkei Genkai. Naruto's eyes narrowed, analyzing the threads of chakra around him. He grabbed onto these threads and copied Haku's bloodline. With no hand signs, Naruto summoned a spiral of moisture from the broken mirrors and launched it forward. Frozen Tempest Barrage. With a wave of Naruto's hand, he sent out shards of ice that swirled through the wind, a deadly combination of ice and wind. Haku barely dodged. Too late. One shard ripped through his shoulder. Another grazed his mask, cracking it clean off. The wind howled. Naruto stood over Haku, breathing heavy, eyes glowing faintly with the fading spirals of the Sozugan. Frost still clung to his palm, the last remnants of the frozen tempest barrage vanishing into the mist. But just as he raised his hand again for a final strike, he paused. A thread. A flicker. A memory. I'm a boy, by the way. Naruto's eyes widened. His breathing hitched. Wait, it's you. The guy from the forest. Haku blinked, lips trembling. The cracked mask slid off his face completely now. So, you recognized me after all. Why? Naruto asked, his voice soft. Why would someone like you follow a guy like Zabuza? Haku didn't flinch. Instead, he slowly sat up, hand gripping his wounded shoulder. Because he gave me a reason to live. Haku, eyes downcast, told him everything. The bloodline. The betrayal. The hunger. The cold. People feared me. My own father tried to kill me. But Zabuza, he saw my power and didn't turn away. He gave me a purpose. I became his tool, so I'd never be discarded again. Naruto's face twisted in confusion and discomfort. That's messed up. How can you live like that? Just being a tool? Because I had nothing else. Naruto was silent. His fists clenched. He'd grown up surrounded by love, praised as the hero of the village. He couldn't truly understand Haku's pain, but he saw it. And he felt it. The truth perception of the Sozugen showed him the web of pain and loyalty tangled in Haku's heart. Even so. Naruto whispered. You're not just some tool. You're a person. You matter. And Haku, for the first time in years, didn't know how to respond. Meanwhile, Kakashi had Zabuza held down with his summoning dogs, lightning flashing brightly in his hand. Lightning blade! Lightning screamed in Kakashi's palm. He dashed toward Zabuza for the killing blow. But Naruto vanished. Fwash! He appeared between them with a spiral of wind, his hand glowing purple as he grabbed the lightning black mid-ash. What, Naruto? Kakashi gasped. The lightning blade fizzled, absorbed completely into Naruto's palm like smoke into a vacuum. Naruto's Sozugen spun, it copied the technique as chakra swirled around him. Don't! Naruto said, calm but firm. You don't have to kill him. Zabuza glared. Move, kid. No. Suddenly, Naruto's gaze shifted towards the far end of the bridge. He looked confused. Through the mist, Naruto could see them, destiny threads converging. 100 strands of greed, violence, and betrayal approaching fast. Gato and his army of mercenaries. They're here. Naruto and Hinata said at the same time. A short man. With a lot of guys. They're just bandits, they don't have a lot of chakra. Hinata said as he looked at Naruto, noticing his new eyes which made her confused as she nearly got lost while looking at them, but she had to focus. She looked behind her to see that Sasuke was injured, running back there and taking out her special ointment to help heal his wounds. Zabuza's head snapped towards the sound of footsteps on steel. That bastard. Zabuza clicked his tongue. TCH. That little rat really thought he could play us. Haku weakly stood beside Naruto, eyes narrowed. Zabuza. Naruto turned toward Kakashi. Can we trust them to help take Gato down? Kakashi raised an eyebrow. You're asking me? You've already made the choice. Naruto gave a sheepish grin, then looked at Zabuza again. You want to protect Haku, right? Then fight with us. Not against us. Zabuza let out a long breath, then smirked. Fine. Just this once. I'll follow your lead, hero. The fog parted slowly. Heavy boots echoed. A sea of thugs, blades, and cruel eyes emerged from the other end of the bridge. Gato, short and smug, stood atop a crate like a king. I thought I told you to kill them for double Zabuza, I was going to kill you anyway. You stupid shinobi are just tools for hire. Zabuza's hands tightened around the hilt of his massive blade. You're not killing anyone, Ha! I have this army, what can you do? Zabuza slowly turned, his mouth curled in a sinister grin. Haku stepped beside him, silent but glowing with icy chakra. Kakashi's headband shifted, revealing the Sharingan. Naruto stood in front of them all, his Sozugen glowing with a galaxy of spirals. The army froze. The air felt wrong. Heavy. One thug stepped forward. TCH, it's just a couple of shinobi. Boom. Wind, fire, water, earth, and lightning erupted around Naruto. The ground cracked. The bridge howled with elemental fury. His eyes shined so bright it blinded some of the men. What is that, I? What is he? Naruto didn't respond. He raised both hands slowly, and all 5 chakra natures spiraled into the air like a god weaving reality. Zabuza chuckled darkly and cracked his neck. Let's end this. Haku. Haku stepped forward, ice forming from the moisture in the air. Yes, Zabuza-sama. Together, they molded hand seals with perfect synchronization. Ice style, Twin Dragon Burial. From the mist and snow, one massive water dragon covered in ice coiled into the sky, jaws snapping, wings stretching, then collided into one titanic beast of frozen death. Kakashi leapt into the air above them, his hands flashing. Lightning release, White Fang bind. Arcs of blue lightning surged from his palms and wrapped around the icy dragon, its entire body now coursing with electrified frost. Then Naruto's voice echoed. Come. Divine. Let me finish it. He thrust his hand forward. Fire. Water. Earth. Wind. Lightning. All elements swirled like galaxies around his fingers. The Sozugen glowed blindingly bright, chakra threads dancing like destiny made manifest. Eternal spiral. He cast the fused chakra outward, and the elemental cyclone engulfed the frozen, electrified dragon. The creature changed. A towering, spiraling dragon of all 5 elements now hovered above the bridge, screaming with the rage of the elements and the precision of creation itself. What the hell is that? Run! Run! Gato stumbled back, falling from his crate. No, wait. I can pay you. I'll pay triple. Too late. Naruto raised one finger and pointed. Go. The elemental dragon shot forward like a cannon of light and fury. The bridge exploded in color. Fire and wind incinerated. Water and ice froze and shattered. Lightning danced. Earth split. The entire army was wiped out in a single devastating flash. When the light faded, only the bridge remained, though it was smoking and cracked, but intact. Naruto stood still, breathing slowly, eyes dimming into faint stars. The mist cleared. Zabuza stood beside Naruto, his blade resting across his shoulder. He gave him a rare, honest nod. You sure this kid is a genin? Kakashi's only eye smiled, covering his Sharingan now. He's somewhat a prodigy. Hinata emerged from the fog, careful in each step. Her hands trembled, but not with fear. Beside her, Sasuke limped, one arm around her shoulders, his body bruised and coated in dried blood and ointment. The Senbon were gone, and though his face was pale, his pride remained intact. His eyes narrowed slightly as he saw Naruto. TCH, show off. But there was no venom in his voice. If anything, gratitude. He remembered the warmth of Naruto's arms catching him. That raw chakra. That fury. That grief. Sasuke looked away, scoffing at his own vulnerability. Hinata gently guided him forward, then stepped in front of Naruto. Her face was pink. Her breath caught in her throat. But she looked at him. Really looked. And Naruto, your eyes, they're beautiful. Naruto blinked, slightly dazed. The Sozugen had faded to its calmer state, those two faint glowing stars still shimmering in his pupils like twin galaxies at rest. He rubbed the back of his head, smiling faintly. Ha, thanks. I guess. I didn't really mean to scare everyone. Kakashi chuckled nearby, arms crossed. You didn't just scare them. You erased an army. Zabuza grunted in agreement. With one move. You're more than a weapon, brat. You're a damn natural disaster. Naruto looked down at his hands again. He didn't feel like a hero. He felt tired. And sad. I just didn't want to let anyone get hurt. Hinata stepped closer and placed her hand over his. You didn't. You saved all of us. Naruto looked at her, surprised. Then smiled. Behind them, the villagers were gathering. Inari ran ahead, eyes wide as the sunrise. Naruto. You did it. You beat all of them. Naruto blinked. Huh, you were watching? Everyone was watching. Inari threw his arms around him. Tsunami ran up, tears in her eyes, and placed a hand over her son's shoulder. Behind her, the bridge builder, now safe and grinning, approached with Kakashi. If this bridge still stands, it's thanks to all of you. Especially this kid. He looked at Naruto with something between awe and warmth. The people of this land will remember this day. Zabuza grunted, crossing his arms, but his face was softer than usual. What are you gonna call the bridge, old man? The builder smirked and raised a brow. The Great Naruto Bridge. Of course. Naruto's mouth dropped open. W8 what? Everyone laughed. Even Sasuke managed a weak smirk. Scene change, Konoha Gates 1 week later. The gates of Konoha loomed tall under the early evening sun. Soft rays glinted off the towering arch as the guards paced the watchtower, idle chatter dying off the moment they felt it. A pulse. Not a gust. Not a jutsu. But chakra. Ancient. Massive. Alive. One guard swallowed dryly. You feel that? The other nodded, already calling into his headset. Get the Hokage. And ANBU. Now. Within seconds, masked figures flickered into place. ANBU from every sector appeared in the trees, weapons drawn, watching the path. Even Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, arrived. Staff in hand. Gaze steady. It's coming from the road. A cat-masked ANBU whispered. No, not just the road. A boar-masked ANBU muttered, eyes wide beneath his mask. It's walking straight toward us. Hiruzen narrowed his eyes. And then they saw him. Kakashi Hatake led the squad. His uniform was slightly torn, one arm in a sling, but his posture was relaxed, confident. Behind him walked Zabuza, Momochi and Haku, now wearing leaf escort bands, hands unarmed and posture calm. Then, Naruto Uzumaki stepped into view. And the entire field froze. The chakra rolling off him, even while calm, was monumental. It wasn't unstable. It wasn't demonic. It was celestial. As if the stars themselves breathed through him. His eyes, half-lidded and peaceful, shimmered like galaxies, the Sozigen glowing faintly with twin stars, calm but eternal. The ANBU tensed. Weapons tightened in hand. And then, Naruto. A blur of red exploded past the line of ANBUs. Kushina Uzumaki tackled in a hug so tight it cracked the air. The entire ANBU unit blinked. Hiruzen slowly lowered his staff. It's his mother. Naruto wheezed as he returned the hug. Mom. You're crushing me. You reckless little whirlwind. I felt that chakra burst from here. Thought the village was under siege.